All right. So we should be live and recording. Fantastic. So this is session 26 for you all coming into it. The previous session was kind of an interesting one that we had a little bit of a kind of we're got to break the dragon out, right? We got to get Tresgall out of here. And one of the things that we had were we was the spell magic, but then we needed to communicate to Tresgall at the same time to be able to break the actual chains, to break away from the bondage while right the dispel magic was going off. So fortunately, you had Nereus that had connection with the blue gemstone, which is now Essence of Blue Dragon, and that connected you to Tresgall with this link. Now it felt that there's a connection that goes beyond just telepathy, given that you actually you like empowered them with the stone at one point. And so you use that connection in addition with the spell magic, uh, communicating to them, yada yada. They broke out of the prison. They began to tunnel. Our blue dragon is a tunneling creature, and they kind of swallowed you all whole from that space, and then they took you to uh, the Isle of the Blessed. They took you to Fel. So that really is the macro scale of everything. And so I know Dustin, you weren't here, and so you pretty much probably don't know what the hell you where you are at all. You probably have no idea. But the Isle of the Blessed is an island off the coast of Cedric Bay, which is on the western side of Arthuria, and it's on the off the west coast of the Gourd Valley. Right, so you didn't actually have to go very far. In fact, you just flew around the marshes of Unveiling and then south down the coastline for a few dozen miles. The dragon made the journey extremely quick. It was super fast, considering the dragon has a just massive fly speed, and they were able to cover that ground. So Felgim, and the reason why you all went here was because of what was told from some entity that erupted inside of Athos's mind, talking about how they could be potentially removed of some issue that plagued them, right? Some issue being, was it a curse? Was it some magical effect from the crystal? Regardless of that, that's kind of what the primary was to draw you here. But the subplay was information that you all have gotten through the campaign, through the game, from certain NPCs that have actually talked about this place. And then the skill checks and history from Athos detailing about how this place used to be a wizarding school, divination, chronergy magic, and then we had the name drop of Headmaster Porig, right? That was
Thank
kind of
God.
one of those, the name drop that was done with the golems. So right now, just for you, we're really just below the tower, right? Felgim, in a way, is a destroyed and ruined city. It's a small city on the island. The docks are destroyed. This place is like lost in time, but the tower was not, and the tower was really the center point of the place. And it's made of this bronze and black metal. It's welded on. There was many different abjuration runes that were etched or welded onto the metal, and that really had some play in the fact that this tower could not be destroyed from when we had potentially the Age of the Great Purge occurred, and then also to weather and just standard decay. Going to the decay part of it, the Isle has some implication on time. So there is a time, something happening, right? It's not maybe a time dilation. You haven't really figured that out yet. It has to do with, though, the fact that the weapons and armaments and then the bodies that were there are really well preserved in a way. The armor and some of the certain things of it are frayed and decayed, but other things are not. So it's like picking what it is that are being weathered through time. It's really strange. And so you picked up certain items and things above the tower. So we're just below the tower. That's it. We've gone down the staircase using some of these magical portals that they have constructed, or teleportation circles, and we faced some sentries, and then we proceeded south down the actual labyrinth. We faced into the golems. We had the name drop. All of a sudden, this old gnome person showed up. and they began to help you, quote unquote, I would say, in getting to this place, which is what was been referred to as the Well of Nine Realms. Not much to look at, quite frankly. It's kind of like a steampunkish thing happening here with this glass vat. There's these orbs that are put on these metallic poles that extend upwards above etched runes and stonework. And there's many different levers and mechanisms that fit into the vat for like drainage and such, you know. So they're harnessing the Isle's waters and they're pumping it through the labyrinth, and they conduct research. That's what they do. So everyone has spoken to this entity. Each of you have gone through and spoken. Now, the only person that did not actually accept what the entity had stated to them was Nereus. The rest of you had accepted the promise of essentially eternal life, like life that you can't die from the ravages of time. You're not like you're immortal, but you can still die conventionally, of other methods, I should say. And then in addition to that, it said that there would be something that you could do. Like you had a power over something. For Athos, it was like absorb light. For Tardan, it was like charm, basically perform for all those around you. And then Sir Dual, it said to absorb your enemies. So there was like a scale factor here. How does that work? But it seemed to be particular. And then in addition to that was plant a seed, right? So the entity was like, you have to plant a part, right? And then put it somewhere. The seed will tell you where to plant when it's time. And they're not really seeds. Like Athos, you got pretty much the only thing that I would say is like a seed, the acorn. And then but Tartan got like a frog egg thing. It was like
very large frog egg,
large frog egg thing. And then surgically you got a carrot, a large carrot. So there was that. Now Nereus didn't say that you didn't have a gift per se. They actually said that you did. That you actually were you were touched by the twin crystal of the other world, and you had kind of absorbed its volatile power. And that has some relation into foresight or visions into the past and such. It's unclear how difficult it is to control, and that whole thing about requiring water, like that water source that was happening with that twin crystal. So that information I wanted to provide to you, just restate. So now we come to you, Ares, because you didn't really have a chance to talk to this thing, right? Because you were gone. And so we paused and we ended the session because we wanted to give you a chance to be able to potentially communicate to the entity and go through what was similar to everyone else.
I mean, I guess my only question would be, did I see everybody else go through and, I guess, make this deal with the entity?
That's correct.
I think it, and the only one that didn't was Nereus.
The only one that didn't come away with a seed, right, and didn't have that entrancing of this purple and kind of pink kind of thing around them in a way, was Nereus. Like they kind of touched it. They either had the communication outside of them, but you didn't hear the entity. It was just within their mind, so it's just like a verbal, or within their own conscious. And they themselves, though, did not. They walked away not having the seed, which was probably the key, that there was something that they did not accept, which everyone else has.
Yeah, so I mean, as far as Ares goes, he would probably just follow suit with the rest of the group, to be honest, and at least go in and try to communicate with this entity.
Okay, so you're gonna stride up. Okay. Make sure the audio is piped in. Okay, so you don't need to move your token if you want to, but you move upwards to the kind of this glass orb that has the kind of chromatic colors and other things, which is noted as that there. I'm not pinging it for you. You're lagging out, but you move up to it. You touch it, right? Their Porrig is
Mm-hmm.
behind. Porrig being this kind of forest gnome, grizzly white beard, has a wrapping over. It's just smoking on a pipe. Purple and pink lightning kind of tracing around the eyes, and just really just monitoring it and watching the situation as you'll have gone through. So you now go up. You touch the orb, and as you do that, this voice begins to reach into your
Uh-oh.
mind. And as the voice kind of comes through, begins to go into your mind, just hello.
Hello.
I am the old one.
I am Aries.
Like your companions, I can promise you eternal life. In addition to being able to step through materials.
Hmm.
In exchange for these gifts, I will give you a seed.
And what does this? What does this seed do? I assume does something for these great gifts you're offering.
The seed is to be planted so that my power can grow.
Hmm. And if your power grows, what do you plan on using it for?
I plan to reach the same power with which what I was at before Damodar had corrupted and diluted it. I will do what I always do, existing outside of time.
Hmm. And why would you need to exist outside of time?
Because I exist outside of time. I don't exist within that dimension. I can see all past, present, and futures.
Seems like a great power for one person to yield.
I am not a person.
So all I have to do to get these gifts from you is plant the seed.
That is correct. At some point in your eternal life, you must plant a seed.
That, so it doesn't have to be tomorrow
No,
or the next day. It could be 200 years from now.
that is correct. The seed will tell you when it is time.
And what happens if I don't plant the seed?
Then the power of which you have will consume you. Just like the twin crystal of the other.
The twin crystal of the other one.
Yes. Something that you were not here for, maybe. Or perhaps
Okay, got it.
did not get an
Got it.
update for some information. But the twin
It's all
crystal of
good.
the other world was an object that the party had interacted with in the depths of the actual labyrinth, right? With the Treadskull's prison, the
Okay.
depths of that. So
Okay.
that was inside the southern Frostford Mountains, going through the Golden Gates and all of that.
So before I draw this out, did we find out if Damodar was one that took this deal as well? As well?
That has not been communicated to you. Seemingly, I would
Okay.
imagine that your party has had ideas of some things. They have yet to really talk about that. There hasn't been a moment yet. So we're kind of coming into that. You don't, like I said, you don't have to do this. You can do this at any point, I should say, as well.
Do it.
Kind of giving you the option of talking to the old one, which is what Falcon researchers had called this entity. It's a name that they had provided. So everyone else, like I said, I'm just giving you information as whatever else is done, and then from there you do with it what you will. You don't have to continue to talk to the entity either. It's up to you. It's up to you.
I just have one more question for him, and the last question is, he said that he had this power before he took something that Damodar corrupted. Did Damodar take this deal as well and betray him?
Damodar possesses gifts that come from my domain. They were used to corrupt the water and my power. I do not choose the gifts that are bestowed. They are already chosen for you.
Hmm. I'm gonna lie, this deal sounds almost too good to be true, but
Damodar is my enemy. And you, chosen one, contain what it is required to stop Damodar.
hmm. So you said right now you can see into the past.
I can see all past, present, and futures.
So tell me, if you can see into the past, you can see into my past. Am I the one that's supposed to have this gem? And I'll hold out the green gem that Lucky gave me and ask him if it was, from what he can see, past, present, and future, if it was meant to be me or if it should have been Lucky and I should be the one that didn't make it.
You ask a question that has already been decided. When the stones were used by Damodar's corruption, I used what little and remaining power I had to send them across all time so that they would end up in your possession. Fate was aligned so that you would possess it. But what you need to understand is that the wheels that turn to decide such a thing are outside the scope of your reasoning. It is not a conscious decision.
And taking this deal will help you destroy Damodar.
That is correct.
I'll do it.
Then it is done. Purple and pink cactus lightning begin to kind of sprout about you. In your palm of your hand begins to form as a very interesting, kind of like a hexagonal plate with a welded on kind of swirl to it. The swirl has little dots they're connected to. It's very similar to like a star constellation that it's kind of being brought into in a swirl like pattern to create some like almost a three-dimensional imagery. The hexagonal plate is of a black metal which is very similar to that you've seen on the outside of the tower. That's intermixed with the bronze, and that is just kind of welded into itself in a way, but there's no actual seam and it's not really raised. So it's very strange to you. It doesn't seem like it would be a part of something, but maybe like something that'll be attached to something else. As that forms inside the palm of your hand, again, the gift that was provided to you, as stated, something in the realm, something in the realm of passing through materials. Unclear as to what that means, as like the rest of your party that were given these gifts, is that they did not come with like an instruction manual.
Okay.
Do you take away your connection, or do you continue with it?
I'm trying to decide here. No, I'll just thank you, and I look forward to defeating Damodar at some point, and then I'll break the connection.
Okay, so you break the connection there. You step away. Everyone else gets. You can see that Ares has the possession of that object, and it seems to have accepted.
What was his? A metal plate?
It's a metal. It's very much described as a black hexagon metal plate with a starlight constellation and a three-dimensional swirl to it to make it like things that would be closer to you to be larger, right? Smaller.
It's like I went to one of the tourist stores, and bought a plate of the tower here to take home as a keepsake. Yeah, there you go. I went.
Yeah, dimension-wise, it's about. It's not very large. It's about 3.5 to 4 inches in its length and height.
So I'm the only one that got a rather large egg. Is what?
Correct. I mean, the carrot's pretty big too, but yeah, the egg is largest.
You turn around, and you see Dougal dangerously close to eating the carrot.
He's about to take a bite. Maybe that's what he
Got
meant
the
by
carrot
planting
out. He's got it out. He's like smelling it.
I mean, he did say
looking
the
at
seed
it.
would let you know when it needs to be or when it wants to be planted. Maybe that's what the seed wants.
Right. Think about how many other things get planted like that.
eventually.
So are we going to talk about what just happened, or are we just going to pretend this is another day in the life of
I
us?
mean, you act as if
I
it's
mean-
not. I mean, we flew here on the back of a dragon, and so this is not exactly outside our wheelhouse at this point.
Yeah, we've been through and done weirder things than this. Let's be honest.
Have we, though? We just made a deal with a deity that is outside of time.
Need I remind you
Yes.
about the coin you have?
Yeah, that's not a deity outside of time. That's somebody that the deity that is outside of time is upset with, which makes
That's
it
a
even more
douche
confusing.
outside of time.
Fair.
It's
about time we
I
found
mean-
allies with actual power.
I
Suppose we
I
all
agree,
have power
Athos,
now.
and from what I was told, and I assume you guys were asking the same questions. Damodar has some ability to go to the plane that this deity is on and gain objects or items from that plane. So, in my book, that makes Damodar pretty damn dangerous.
Yeah, so apparently are we. I had a rather long conversation with the old one about us and how we came to be and what we are and what that means. It was fascinating, really. I am fascinated with Porig. He told me you were in charge of cleansing him of his corruption. How do you plan to go about that, and how's it going so far?
It's going pretty good. It's going pretty good.
Yeah, but Like a 5-year plan you're working on? Or-
5 years. It's I don't know how much time it's been. Do you know how much time it's been?
It has been, Athos would know, it's been hundreds of years, right?
Who are all of you? Why did I let you in here?
Because we are
What do you
allies
have
of
in that pipe?
the old one, right? That's,
This thing is good luck.
Hey man, puff puff pass. All right, puff puff pass.
No! I don't even know who the fuck you are. Who are all of you people? Why are you in the lay down chamber? Whatever, not around.
we are the chosen
got
ones
in.
of the old one, apparently.
Chosen ones of the old one. Why does that sound so familiar?
We're gonna need any stones you have.
Stones. Oh, I got a lot of stones I can get you.
Great, we'll take all of them, thanks.
Alright. Teleports away.
You didn't let me ask for a robot first.
Do we
Wait a
think that
second.
was
Is that-
goodbye, or he went looking for something?
Yeah, is that really going to work?
He's quite old. He might have had to pee.
The
He's
real
going to come back
question
with a
is,
handful of rocks.
How many brain cells does this guy really have left?
if he doesn't come back and we leave this room, are these things going to attack us again?
Well, apparently, all we have to do is tell them that we're here to see Carrig, and they stop. So just don't hit them this time.
I had nothing to do with hitting them.
That's fair.
Just not very good with names. There's a lot of names.
No, that's also fair. But no, he was here during the purge, and I assume was already old then.
The purge?
Yes, the purge. He led the defense of this tower against the Talthos. It's the only reason I knew his name.
And how many years ago was that?
It was hundreds, right? It was like a couple of kings ago.
It's like
The Great
282
Purge?
years ago.
Yeah.
Sort of around that time, right? 282.
Well,
If
since
he
we don't
led-
know if he's coming back, I suppose there are some things I should share. So when I was speaking with him, the entity, the deity, whoever he may be, told me that being chosen is more than just the stones. The stones are just tools that we are most capable of wielding. We are chosen because there is a splinter of power within us that came from some being from beyond, perhaps a long lost deity, from an event that was effectively the fracturing of time. It seems as though there was one timeline that fragmented into many, and during this process, some divine or powerful being split themselves up amongst the realities or spread themselves out. We are carrying a piece of this person's power, which is what drew the stones to us and what lets us wield them.
Following that logic, that would mean Damodar also has a piece of said deity inside of him?
Possibly. He does have an affinity for the stones, although they did say that the stones weren't sent to the chosen ones until after Damodar had done something nefarious with them, which is why they were sent out as a counter to whatever he had done. But there still could be an argument made that he has something similar. He's clearly not your typical asshole.
So you're saying that these stones we have are a part of somebody like the old one?
No, the stones are effectively parts of dragons, sort of. The stones are essence of dragons when brought together.
Okay.
But
Okay.
whatever is in us gives us the ability to make use of them. It gives us the power to wield them. But our power apparently goes far beyond stones and dragons.
So, by a raise of hands, who has not been able to talk to their dragon yet, or have an image yet?
My dragons are all dead.
Well, you did talk with it before you let it go, and then it subsequently died, right?
Yeah, but since then I just get taken to this weird void. It's really lonely.
Some say a dragon's only as good as its stone holder.
Didn't you just adopt your dragon?
I think it adopted me.
Did a side note here? Didn't we give Tardan the red
No,
gem, or did we not?
absolutely not.
Supposedly
Someone-
you have it from what I was
yeah.
told.
Yeah, I
You
think
could give
Ares
it to
does.
him, but there's no way that Nereus gave it to Targe.
No, I knew Nereus gave it to me. I thought I gave it to Tardan last time I was here.
Well, our plan was to give all of them to one person, but we didn't do that.
Yeah, no,
Because
you
you
and
have
I
to, like,
haven't been
relinquish.
together since that session because you left. Oh
Okay.
no, I guess we were actually while we were doing the maze a little bit, but then you left before we ever talked about it.
Okay, easy enough. So, I guess I'm just trying to figure out how this Damodar character has become so powerful and is linked to all of this. What his purpose or end state was, and what he was trying to accomplish.
So
I-
while you were drunk, by the way, something else that we probably left out. I'm just gonna call you drunk for your absence. Out of character, Nereus was able to use the essence of dragon to power up his dragon as well. So that's another fact that you may not have been aware of. He was actually able to channel power through his essence of dragon into the blue undead dragon to give it kind of a resurgence, and it actually grew like in real time in front of us.
Mm.
Yeah, he turns it into a super kaiju.
Yeah.
Okay.
Once again, a dragon's only as good as its stone holder.
Now, it would appear that I suspect, much in the way that many of us just made a deal with some powerful entity, that Damodar may have made some sort of dealing with a different sort of powerful entity. Perhaps one rooted in similar origins, but not the same.
Is it possible that he got his hands on the essence of dragons and made deals with the dragons?
I mean, that could be part of it, but whatever he has, this energy, I mean, much similar energy to what you see coming from the old one and even the disappearing gnome, that goes far beyond dragons. That supersedes the fabric of the universe.
But how do we know that this... Go ahead.
I see, but the Nereus's dragon hated Damodar.
Yes. From what we were told, making it undead protected it from whatever power Damodar had over the other dragons, supposedly.
Right, so I don't think that any of the dragons, nor whoever had their essences, were probably willingly helping or assisting Damodar. They were, in some way, shape, or form, forced to.
Yes, that much is almost certain. Like I said, I believe the power that he started with came from something far greater than dragons. Dragons and their subjugation are just a tool in his toolbox. Probably one that came after.
Well, there's also the fact that time is not as rigid as we would believe it to be. Seeing as
yes,
how
that's... Please go ahead.
if the vision that we saw of Damodar with Lady Sindar Elena was to be believed in Sindar Elena's lifetime, obviously, Damodar is clearly not that old, realistically. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, like, he hasn't.
Right.
So
So that was,
somewhere along the line, something got jumbled.
yes, I believe both he and this Magello character sound like people who tamper with time quite a bit. That was one of the other things that we talked about. With all these diverging timelines and potentialities and futures and pasts. One of the reasons that Damodar used the stone, the one that tried to eat me, to try and peer into the futures of things and see answers to his plight. One of the reasons we were chosen to oppose him is because he is unable to see our futures. We exist in a state of described. We have a greater level of free will. Our decisions branch the timeline in ways that he cannot see. He can see a singular timeline. I think even the old one said that he could see our singular future, but every decision we make branches it in ways that he can't predict, which gives us a certain amount of insulation from Damodar's prying and plotting. And then the stones themselves protect us from divination. So the two of those things together make us very hard for him to predict or deal with.
But with his power, if he wanted to deal with us, he could just kill us.
That is the implication, yet he has not. I mean, one could say he seems incapable of spying on us reliably or finding us or knowing where we're going to be, but he has found us on at least one occasion, and it sounds like perhaps more since, before I was here. And he chose not to eliminate any of us, which makes me wonder if he really can. Or perhaps...
Well, is it that, or is it that he needs us?
Well, that's what I was going to say. Perhaps what he knows of his plan, he fears might require us for some step somewhere, and that eliminating us would, with his inability to see the consequences of that action, anyone who becomes obsessed with predicting the future inherently must become obsessed with every detail. It is impossible to track that many points of information, and the pursuit of it will drive you mad. So he would have to belabor every single decision that he makes, and one that he cannot see the outcome of would likely drive him mad.
I think whether by reputation or reputation, he has probably not a lot of friends that will give him or help him find anything, which is why he would need us. And then maybe he's also hoping on using us to control the chosen one's powers. And maybe that's what failed in the past for him, is he tried to do it all by himself instead of using other people to do it.
I mean, it could very well be that he's holding out hope that he can sway us to his cause. We would be powerful allies, apparently, if we're demigods, for lack of a better description.
So what did Magello said that we were to, or not Magello? It was the Tales that said that the Chosen Ones ended chaos? Was that? Or was that Magello? We had to put something back in order? Could that be the timeline?
Perhaps, although I did not get the impression that what has been shattered can be put back together. But this entity did seem keen on correcting things that were out of place in the order of things. So in that respect, yes, I suppose Damodar is an anomaly to his foreseen future, and we would be repairing a potential future, I suppose. I don't know that you can put the pieces back together, but you could put it back on track, perhaps. Although it does sound like this whole plot spans multiple realities, multiple timelines.
Well, that's what I'm trying to get at, is what are we supposed to do? Like, besides Damodar?
Well, I had hoped to get more details from the gnome, but he seems forgetful and also absent. I was curious as to how the old one told me he had tasked the gnome with removing the corruption from the waters and his power. I was curious for the details of that, how he intended to do that. I'm not sure he knows, honestly. I think his job might just be to caretake this place until we kill Damodar and hope it goes away.
Well, what is our next move?
Well, I suppose leaving the tower is step one. Do we know, Nereus, is your taxi going to be waiting for us outside?
If you insist on making up words, please be a bit more inventive than taxi.
This is a clever nickname for Tresgol, right?
No, he's just called the Conqueror is his nickname, remember?
That's far too inefficient.
TC. We're calling him TC.
Well, as you've
Trey.
already pointed out, time flows differently, so perhaps several seconds have passed or several hundred years.
Yes, that is a bit of a concern. It's either been absolutely no time or it has been quite a lot. Given the gnome's stasis, it's probably the latter, but also the old one tends to gift one with longevity, so we can't even wager that that is necessarily the case.
Oh, maybe Tresgol's dead.
That would be terrifying, because he also can't die from old age, and anything that can kill him at the moment would be rather unsettling.
One can hope.
Do you think your frog is going to hatch before you plant it? Are you going to plant the egg, or will you be planting a frog later?
How big is this egg, by the way, again? Didn't you say it was like 1.5 feet or something crazy?
Yeah, so I went ahead. Oh, no, 1.5 feet. No.
No, okay. I thought it was like some ridiculous sized frog egg.
I mean, it's pretty ridiculous. It's 7 inches in diameter. So
Okay.
that's a pretty big. A frog egg is like tiny.
Yeah.
And then it's a bundle of sack. This is like one like enormous ball of
Like a
it's
small
just one
golden-
egg. See,
Yeah. Like a golden egg
yeah.
that people lose. Okay. That's fine. I don't know. It's big. I haven't seen a frog this big personally.
Can you
What did
imagine
you get?
attacking
You got a-
Damodar with a giant frog? I got an actual seed. It's rather straightforward. He told me what he was going to give me, and he gave it to me.
And Dougal, it looks like you have a carrot now that you're looking at, like it's dinner.
You see Dougal just eating the top of like gnawing on what's left of the grass of a carrot. What? Yeah, which feels a little. Well, let's just say the old one either has a terrific sense of humor or a terrible race problem.
Wouldn't be the first one of the group.
I guess as an optimist, let's just think he has a great sense of humor. Yeah, it's a carrot, because why make it easy?
I mean, at least yours isn't
What, constantly
Going to-
tempting me to eat it?
going to hatch at some point.
Are you ever tempted to eat your egg?
I don't know. I have heard frog legs taste like chicken.
Perhaps with a light hollandaise, I can see it.
The real
And then-
question is, does this entity threaten to take your gifts away if you didn't do what they said?
No, to completely and utterly destroy us. Basically, the thing that happened when I made the crystal angry, that happens again.
But there was no timeline associated when we had to fulfill.
Right, and we
Our
are now
side of the
apparently virtually deathless.
Do you want to test that theory?
I was waiting for Tartan to say that.
We could still be killed. You just can't age.
Oh, I was hoping we could test that theory.
Are you volunteering for the
No,
test
I thought
subject,
Athos
Tartan?
was.
I do love a good experiment, but when you already know the outcome, it's kind of pointless.
Trust but verify. We learned that with the rooms. Remember when we suspected that northern orb to go to another test room?
That's
Trust but verify. I'm sure we'll find out soon enough. It sounds like we're...
It's bound to come up. Who knows what the odds of us living through this whole thing is anyway? But hey, apparently we're pot god, so, there's that.
I would wager 0.
What about these gifts? There was not a lot of specificity on wielding such power.
Power. Sounds like he just said I could do the same thing I do anyway, but I get to plant a cool egg out of it, so...
What did he say you could do?
That I could charm the masses.
Go charm Nereus.
I don't
If
believe
this
that it works on
works.
us.
Now who doesn't want to experiment?
I mean,
So you say you
Tartan,
could do.
to be fair, that would be the ultimate test of this charm
Right.
entity.
The
If you
ultimate
could charm
power.
Nereus.
To giving you a foot massage.
Yes, but if I could charm Nereus, then that would be way too much power for me to have, and we don't want that.
That's also a fair point.
After I'm
If I-
just saying, it kind of sounds like he's scared.
He just wants it to be real once he wins Nereus' affection. Cheating with
Yes.
magic would be less satisfying.
I want Nereus to want to be my friend.
So you better go charm him if that's what you want.
No. Charming is a very different thing than friendship.
I'm just saying, the Tartan that I knew would 100% want to try this out. You've changed.
So what did you get, Ares?
Evidently, like you said, not a lot of instructions. Pass through things.
Hey, there's a wall right there. Run at it.
Get a running start. Speed is key.
If
Lower your
you
head.
if you charm Nereus first and it works, I will run full speed into that wall.
If you even look at me, Tardan.
This is just gonna turn into a charm off. I just want to see it. It's like the wizard battle with the big bright beam that just goes back and forth.
Oh, this is good.
Nereus, you just need to play along, and then we get to watch Ares run into a wall.
I'd rather watch you run into a wall.
That's fair.
As the conversation is going on, I would like to move a little closer to the wall and concentrate real quick and try to, without anybody noticing, put my hand through the wall. See if that works.
Lean, like
Yeah,
The
like
old casual lean and
I don't
he
want
falls
them.
through the wall.
I don't want the group to know that I'm testing it out.
I'm
You're
pretty
trying to
sure
slide.
Athos has like
You're trying to slide a hand it.
Yeah, I'm trying to do it where they don't. Where hopefully Nereus and Tardan are in a stare down, and Athos is watching that and not able to see what's going on.
Okay. Well, I mean, passively, you know, you should be.
Yeah, what is Athos, like a 32 passive?
yes.
Yeah, your sleight of hand is not going to beat. You know, your sleight of hand passive is not going to beat perception passive. So you can roll for sleight of hand if you'd like, but Athos is definitely going to see it as well as Target. That's up to you if you want to. If you really want to, or we could just RP flare it and they can turn and look at it. But they're going to see you walk off and move to the wall, especially after just running and just stating you want to run into the wall. So it's up to you.
Yeah, I can't do anything to distract him either. I'm gonna wait for a moment where I could potentially do it unseen.
Okay. If that's the case, then it's going to have to be when Tardan's doing their thing, because then people are going to be distracted by that.
Yeah,
Everyone's
I'll
just
kind of let you know.
Yeah, everyone's kind of like in this like almost like limbo state of like, is Pora going to return? And it's been a long time now. You know,
yeah, it seems like he just fucked off. Yeah.
Porg isn't he? One of the things that Porg was showing was that they actually didn't know who you were. They didn't even know really why you were here in this space, and then they were set to go get stones.
And they may well have forgotten.
They
why
may
left.
They may well have forgotten.
I'm going to reach under
Narius.
my cloak. Oh, go
If
ahead.
this guy comes back holding 300 pounds of rocks, you're carrying them.
We have a bag of holding.
No, I mean yes, but Nereus, if he comes back holding 300 pounds of stones, you're carrying them.
Athos, what was your gift?
Apparently, to absorb light. Not quite sure if that means to create darkness or to be imperceptible. I could see lots of interpretations for it.
I mean,
Well,
you're already pretty sneaky.
See?
I do believe that our gifts were meant to empower us.
It doesn't seem to be working.
Didn't give me a saving throw. It's broken.
Disabled the saving throw. That way they can Nereus is cast it. Looks like it's giving off lights. That's cool.
Yeah. It did get a lot brighter.
Yeah, I'm glad that it
My
still
poor
works.
eyes.
Yeah, that's what we
Yeah.
needed. More.
Tartan's
More
light.
More light and
solid
Tartan's
light.
joking. Foundry versus 10 is not kind to your token. The way the lighting's been
No.
changed.
I'm gonna have to get a new character. All right, it's fine.
And Sir Google, what was yours?
What was my what? The gift or the seed?
Well, I think we know or knew what the seed was before it was maybe eaten a little bit. But what was your gift?
To absorb my enemies.
That sounds painful.
For
I
whom?
just think of the cubes that we ran into in the tombs. Is
Why don't you summon more of those adorable badgers and absorb them?
Mm,
Those are the enemies.
Because those are my friends.
All
you
of us
think-
to
Were-
attack you.
They were kind of pissed off at the end of it.
There's a difference, I think, between disgruntled mammals and enemies.
That's fair.
Do you-
If you'd like, I can make anything want to kill you.
Oh,
And just because it works for yourself doesn't mean that it works for others.
OOC, did Dougal summon badgers that turned against him?
No,
No,
they kind of
he got them all
annihilated.
killed.
No, they stayed faithful. They just were
No.
rather obviously
Slaughtered.
cannon fodder.
Yeah.
Sir Dougal does not. I don't know if this could just be conceptually, but like you're pulling when you conjure animals, you're pulling animal spirits from the Fae, like the real creatures, the real thing manifesting themselves in this plane. So Sir Dougal was like just giving them away, right? To fight and to conquer, and a lot of them died. Turns out they're all from one family.
Some of them survived. They
It's
didn't
one
all
family
die.
badgers.
Yeah, it was like a mother and an uncle. It's like, yeah.
That made me like funny.
Like,
Yeah.
I think there were like 6 of them, and 2 of them survived.
right.
I think it was 8.
There's 8 of them, but
Okay, but 2 of them survived.
2 of them survived out of 8.
Listen, man, well,
So I guess we won't be summoning badgers anymore.
they get it back. It's this isn't a one-way street. When I go back there, you don't think I serve?
Fair. Do you think you could
I have
absorb one of
to-
these robots?
You know,
If that goes wrong, these are
Right.
not nice robots.
Oh, but don't
Do
worry.
you
I'm sure
think you could
Tardan
charm?
can charm it. Yes, perfect.
I mean, Ares can just meld into it.
He could pilot it from the inside. Now that's
Okay,
that-
look, I will show you that is not what you think, and I will walk up to the wall and I will put my hand through the wall.
Okay. You walk up to the wall and you begin to focus on passing through the material. As you do that, purple and pink cackling lightning begins to sprout from your hand into the object. As it does, it begins to trace around to swirling blackness as you create some sort of wormhole. As you do, you begin to pass your hand into the object for a brief moment. And you pull your hand back.
Holy shit, it worked. I was not
I have
expecting
to-
that.
No, I did not expect success on the first try. That's impressive.
Not
Uh,
exactly subtle.
Was there a code word? Passphrase?
No, I literally just thought about it and it happened.
It. When your hand went through, did you feel anything? Is it more of it creates a door than you actually pass through the object? Like, could you
Michael?
go into the wall?
I mean, it's on.
I mean, if
I
if
can
I
only
go
describe.
into
I
the
can only
wall-
describe it to you as I did. So yeah, you gotta reason that out for yourself.
Yeah, if,
Now,
if I
I
go
wonder-
into the wall and I can't get out, that's it.
Yeah, I suspect you shouldn't stay in the wall. I wonder what the
Wow.
effects would be if you pass through a living creature.
Any volunteers? Any badgers around?
Have a large badger. There was a bear earlier.
There was a bear there. Athos. Or not Athos. Ares, what was your mindset when you touched the wall? Maybe Athos could do the same with the absorbing of light.
Quite honestly, I was just trying to show you guys I didn't have any ability to do anything. I just concentrated on it, and you guys saw what happened. Like I don't know. Maybe if Athos thinks he's invisible, maybe he will hide in plain sight.
You just close my eyes, you can't see me. That kind of thing.
Worth a try.
I'm- That's one way to do it for a 2-year-old, or you could just try to make yourself invisible with kind of like a man, that won't work in this reference.
Athos will touch his symbol and focus on the Night Mistress and her secrets and try to embrace the darkness.
Okay. So as you touch your symbol and you begin to hold and concentrate and focus, purple and pink cackling lightning begin to sprout all about you. As it does, it begins to arc themselves in tracing into light sources in space. As you begin to continue to focus on it, it's very apparent all the light sources in the space arc off as they do, turning them off for you all. They dwindle themselves almost instantly in the sense of how long it takes for the arcing to get there. As the arcing almost pulls into the lights are gone, so the sources of the light diminish. The objects are destroyed or anything, just the light itself. And then it begins to come back, and as it is in traces, as you continue to focus and continue to concentrate, you also become visible. Sphere.
Athos, are you still with us?
Taps
Well-
hard on the pillow.
What the? Oh, okay. You're here. All right, that's fine. I thought maybe you had pulled an Ares and went into the wall and we're never going to be seen again.
Well, jury's still out on being seen again, but this is a neat trick. It's a good thing we can all see in the dark. We need to find a device for the wizard.
We do.
Night spectacles or something.
I'm gonna need you to like not being invisible anymore. This is very weird having a conversation with the air.
It's kind of delightful, actually. Very freeing. I don't need
You weren't
pants anymore.
free enough earlier, running around with your willy out after being zapped by the crystal.
That was against my own consent. I would have gladly kept my pants in that scenario.
All right, well, I suppose that we know that the gifts are real. Dougal will be able to absorb an enemy at some point. We'll figure out the charming of people. I don't suppose it works on us, but
Well,
There's one way to try it out.
I don't even know how I would, like, what would I focus on?
So, I mean, honestly, if you want to know it works, you probably need somebody who has a little bit of dislike for you. And I would concentrate on making them your friend and see what happens.
Yes, but if
What
there's
could
one thing that
possibly
we've
go wrong?
learned is that the stones or whatever protect us from this type of magic, no? So thus it's not going to work on Neres.
Protects us from divination. I don't remember protecting anything about protecting.
So,
charms.
remember what Neres did to me back in the church when we first met, and I had my stone.
Yes, but that
And
didn't come from the purple and pink cackling lightning that has been the whole source of all of our pain and misery.
So wouldn't it be nice to know though that your ability may work on Damodar, who may also possess something of a similar nature, and you have to test it out. No,
Imagine if you could just make Damodar your best friend. Problem solved.
I will reach under my cloak, pulling out my lyre as I begin to sing towards Nereus.
No, I don't qualify. I don't just dislike you a little bit.
All right. Go ahead and make a performance check for me. And this might be a little bit challenging to do because we do have to get the token HUD thing open or have our character.
Oh
as
wow,
one
what
of
a
the
wonderful
checks.
performance.
11 performance
Oof.
check as you begin to play your lyre, as you focus into the notes, into the music becoming swallowed and involved around. Your focus and intention is to have a good performance, to enthrall the people that are around you. And as you begin to play, it seems as though the musical notes are entranced in purple and pink little bits of lightning begin to sprout from the lyre, filling the ears of all those around. I need everyone to please make a charisma saving throw.
Oh shit!
Oh god damn it!
I disbelieve.
I'm probably going to say the easiest way, like I said, you have to pop up the combat HUD to get to it, to
Mother
roll the
humper.
save. The best way, I would say, honestly, for out of combat is just to have your character sheet to be able to click off of that, to use that. That would be the easiest way. All right, so we get the charisma saving throws out as you begin to roll them here. Nereus and Ares, you have both failed. Athos and Sir Dougal, you both have succeeded against the musical notes and not becoming enthralled. Nereus and Ares, you both are charmed. As this begins to befall you, playing it outwards, you begin to feel the musical notes within your body, and soon enough, you're beginning to dance a little bit, and you feel as if Tardan is your best friend. That everything is just.
You know, Tardan, I told you that flute was holding you back. The lyre sounds quite good.
I'm glad you feel that way, and I will stop playing the lyre as I kind of see the effects of Nereus changing his attitude.
Okay. Stop playing the lyre, and you can see that the charm just slowly begins to subside almost instantly. It starts that process, and the charm then ends.
Suddenly from behind Dougal, holy shit, I think it worked.
If you ever do that again, you will wake up in ways I'm not even going to describe. Your lyre was terrible. Sir Dougal, try and eat him, please.
That went better than I expected. Aries, what did you think of my lyre play?
At the time, it was the best performance I have ever heard in my life. Now, it was somewhere between School Children Brings Recorder home for the first time and Boston Symphony. Somewhere between there. Quite honestly,
Just pop it.
So
right?
on a scale of a 1 to 20, like an 11?
like how I feel now about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would say somewhere between a 10 and 11. Yeah.
It was a bit pitchy, but obviously got the job done.
I mean, it 100% got the job done.
It would probably help if I could, actually see the instrument in more than shades of gray.
Any master doesn't need to look at their instrument. My God. I don't even play music, and I could tell you that.
I'm a master of a flute, not a master of a lyre. Just because I can play the lyre doesn't mean that I'm a master.
So you're better with your mouth than you are with your hands.
Yes. Trust me, I have many satisfied customers.
Gross.
And that's why you're the charming one.
Sir Dougal, how's that carrot taste over there?
Don't look at my carrot. I'm not sure eating
for the
it.
rest of the campaign.
I'm not sure eating it would be a good idea.
I just assumed you'd already done it with the lights out.
It's a really good-looking carrot, and these are few and far between.
Carrot is the size of the carrot, right?
It's hard to find a carrot that large this side of the Feywild.
Right. I feel like
So it's about the size, not the quality. Is that what we're getting at here with the carrot?
well, judging from its exterior, it seems like it might have both, but all right, I'm not gonna eat it just yet, but If times get tough and our belts get tight enough around here, and I haven't planted it yet, I'm still carrying it around, I'm gonna eat this thing. I can replant it after I eat it.
You could fertilize it, but replanting it might be a stretch.
Maybe.
So Athos.
So do you go? You're gonna eat it?
No, not yet.
No, not yet. Okay.
Oh, Michael got all excited on that one.
Roll a Constitution saving throw.
No, I was just wondering if he was
he
gonna
did.
eat it or not. I was really confused. I was trying to follow along with the
Did you hear
conversation,
him
but
perk up?
honestly, I could not figure out if you were gonna eat it or not. It sounded like you were.
I'm glad. Then I'm correctly conveying his dubiousness.
For all we know, he's already eaten it, and he's holding another carrot. That
Yeah,
he's just had in
it's
his
just like
pocket,
another
yeah.
carrot.
Yeah, I just goldfished you with a carrot.
You did. You goldfish me hard. So Athos, as the conversation continues, you've been in this invisible condition for some time. And what happens, you begin to start feeling drained. Your actual breathing becomes more labored. You start sweating. You maybe have a couple different palpitations. And there's a strong fatigue that you're starting to feel.
Well, this is apparently taxing.
Can you reverse it?
I guess.
Okay. So as you focus on trying to reverse the process, right, trying to end it, you begin to go through the same steps as you did before. And as the arcing lightning begins to trace around your body, slowly you become revealed, right? You become visible. Slowly in the context of you can do this, right? Maybe as an action, or there's some terms of combat mechanics. But in a way, right, it's not happening all instantly, right? It's going through. In addition to that, none of the lights are back on.
Oh my
I
god.
suppose that makes sense.
You broke it.
Well,
Not that these are candles, but typically when you snuff a candle, it has to be relit. It doesn't come back by itself.
Then, after a few seconds, only some of the lights come back. Particularly the ones that are emanating from the orbs and the coolant, the actual striking electricity, right? That barrier that's formed around. That was still there, it just was void of any coloration, light source. So just the orbs and the lighting are lit. But the regular crystals that are inside of those glass lanterns that hang from the sconces of the walls, right? Those are not. They're not aglow.
I wonder what would happen if you did that outside during the daylight.
I'm keen to try. I feel like as tired as I got in a few minutes wandering around in here, trying to blot out the sun would be pretty exhausting. But an experiment I would very much like to have.
We'll do that.
That may not be one
after
that you
have-
walk away from.
Couldn't have walked away from the crystal either, but here we are.
I feel a crystal is infinitely less powerful than the sun. I would be
This-
careful.
No, it is a crystal from another world that could see through time.
I would be very careful with this until we know more about it.
I have to assume my power is limited to a range. I can't imagine. I mean, the sun is rather far away. Like, soaking up light in a particular radius is one thing. I don't imagine I can kill it from afar.
I suppose we should get out of here. It doesn't look like our friend is coming back unless somebody wants to hit a robot and get a robot to call him down.
I feel like that's, he's not going to be much more use, unfortunately. We should.
Well,
probably,
Nereus is waiting for his stones.
they ever will get here.
Oh, I just got the
Yeah, same.
alert again.
Dropping
Guessing you
tokens.
just dragged a token onto the board.
I dragged Sir Dougal's token on a different map, so it still pops up even if I drag him on 2 different maps. It's really interesting.
Interesting.
I wonder if I drag
Sir-
just a random token down if it pops up. Here, let's put like just a random adventuring type
Yep.
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 every time.
Yep.
I got one.
Wow.
I know for sure.
That's so interesting. How about
And it even gives
there?
us a scene ID. So, like, if we ever
Yeah,
figured
lack
out with a
permission to
scene
update
ID,
token. Mm-hmm.
We can know what
we
you're
could
up to.
know where. Yeah, we could know where you're dragging. and
You
dropping
could
tokens at.
know what we're up to. Yeah,
Mhm.
I gotcha.
We know where
Well,
Damon was hiding now.
Well, it most likely is just gonna have to. I'm gonna have to disable the cover calculator because that's where it's causing it. But I don't want to disable it. I was going to for your sickness.
We can verify that tomorrow morning at the Saturday group.
Not doing anything but removing tokens from that map.
Yeah,
Ooh.
pretty much.
Oh, there we
Um,
go. If there's anything else we need to do then, yeah.
Darius, do you want to wait on your friend, or shall we go? I know you're working through some emotions over there. You went from being happy with me to hating me again in a very short amount of time. That's a very wide range of emotions for you.
I don't know why you think we can get out. If you recall, we are stuck in here.
No, there's
It's just
a plate
magical
right here.
plate. Yeah.
Once we get back upstairs.
There were other magical plates. I'm sure that there's
That
some
none
magic
of us
plate out
could
of here.
read.
You know, you make a very fine point, but
I
there
know.
was more to this place.
We came here to get Athos fixed, and that's what we did.
Yes.
So then, yes, we're leaving.
We can't leave.
This is the only door we came through with the note. What we have to do is walk through.
I'm
I'm-
talking about upstairs. Do you not remember when we entered?
I'm sure there's a way out somewhere.
I'm sure there is, but we can't read Gnomish.
But there was also an upstairs that we didn't explore that could have a way out. There could be a way out down here.
Didn't we just have to touch the door? All you had to do was take a tiny gnome hand and touch the door. That's how you opened it in the first place, right?
There is no handprint on the backside of the main door that we came in through.
Oh, I didn't examine it.
Well, if these things start attacking, good luck.
We just tell him we're here for Headmaster Porrig. And then maybe he'll bring your stones down.
Yeah, right. Or at least remember why we were here in the first place.
That. True.
All right, so are you proceeding forward? We
Sounds
stepping
like the
around?
plan.
Plate.
Stepping on the plate.
Okay. So in the plays that happens, put your foot down, that bubble, that greenish sphere begins to kind of absorb, wrap around you, shimmers and glows, and you are teleported to the opposite side. I'm assuming everyone is going.
Yeah. All right.
I think this will work. There's a hotkey. Oh, it didn't work. Okay, well, I'm disappointed.
Ding.
Who's raising
Who
their
raised
hand?
their hand?
Get out of here. There's its response. All right, so as you are set on the plate, you're teleported onto the other side. As you do, you can see the walls and the alcoves there with the golems that stand kind of hulk down into their coolant. You know that there is a mirrored-like effect, right, to this particular space, suggesting that there are similar studies that are filled into chambers to the west here into the various intersections. It's unclear. Again, those are written in Gnomish, so it's you don't know particularly unless you spend some time trying to figure out what you don't know what would be in those books. Like, what exactly are they writing about? What is in there? So would they seem to be some nice kind of lecture, kind of study, flame chambers and things. These beautiful, immaculate bronze metal kind of tables that are perfectly kind of like, what's the word? Not necessarily like grinded, but there are kind of like from solid brass or like bronze stock, it seems. So maybe the table was one piece of bronze or brass at one point that they have broken down into the table shape. It's very smooth, it's polished. Some of the rooms, particularly the south room of this side, the western wing here, the south is more like a lore room. It has many different kind of scrolls and bindings of very ancient things that are really brittle and decayed. And they're just laid in those shelving that's inside of the bronze and black metal walls. There's like shelf or indentation that kind of sits inside of them, right? And then those are just kind of laid in. Some of them do have dividers. The dividers are kind of like a lattice work of the same brass, which is the same as the tables of the bronze. And that lattice work is like a privacy screen that kind of sits and divides them. But there's no actual nomenclature or writing that's embodied into any of the shelves or the walls themselves.
I will say it would be fascinating to see whatever writing actually survived all the destruction upstairs, but none of us speak the language, so it would be fairly useless.
I really think that if we hit a robot, the robot will call Porrig when we tell him we're here for Porrig.
Yeah, but Porrig barely remembers his own name.
So back the way we came.
Suppose.
Okay. So you're going down that way? Is everyone going along with?
Yeah, I'm trying to drag my token and just kind of laggy a little bit for me.
You want to know something cool? If you all want, you can follow each other.
Sure.
You know that.
Shut
What?
up.
Yeah. So you could press F on while you have another token selected, and it'll make you follow that token. I believe.
Hacks.
Athos, drag your token.
You should be notified. It'll say it following.
Do I need to target him and then press
I don't
F?
think you need to target.
Yeah, I'm following. It says, yeah, I'm following
there it
16
goes.
feet behind Tardan.
So there you go.
Oh, nice.
How do
Why
I,
is mine not working?
Stop
how do I
following.
unfollow?
All right.
I tried
so
following myself, but that didn't fix it. Wait, maybe.
Something's happening.
Nope.
What happened? Why did my token turn?
Your token
It
turns because it
auto-rotates.
auto rotates.
Oh,
to
because
where you're moving.
that.
Now
makes
let's
sense.
say
being
that you
pulled, yeah.
want to look a different direction with your token, but you don't want to use the hotkeys. You can actually click your token and hold down R and spin your mouse.
Click your token. Hold down on.
Oh.
This seems like too complicated for trackpad. Click your
I did bring
token,
this up
hold
because it
down
wasn't going to be things that I thought we would. But you made a really good point here, Dustin. Like follow, I can't follow.
So yeah, so you just select somebody's token.
Tardan, move for me real quick.
I think you have to target me and then press F.
I didn't. I just moused over you. I didn't even click you. Just moused over.
Really?
Just
yourself.
hovered over,
Oh,
over
yeah.
and press F.
Yeah.
All right, try it. Oh, just hover over. Maybe that's the problem.
Yeah, maybe just
It
gotta
pops
hover
up
over.
It'll have
pops
a
up a
pop-up that
message.
says, "Okay, following whoever 5 feet behind." It'll actually
mine's
keep your
not.
distancing too, which is cool.
Where's
Yeah.
the message pop
Will
up
it-
at?
Will
right
it
above
turn a
screen.
corner?
We'll see it. I see it if it pops up. I don't see it coming up.
Yeah, I'm hovering over. Maybe Tardan's broken. Let me try Nereus. Nope, F is not working for me.
You
So
might need
if
to
you-
click into the thing.
So click your token and then hover over somebody and press F.
Oh, you just moved
Oh.
to break it. So if you don't want to follow
Yeah.
it anymore, just take a step.
Okay, so Tardan, move for me.
It's working.
Should be following you, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Turn a corner.
Yeah. So that's the problem. I had to hit my token first. Okay.
Oh,
It
it
will-
hacked him through the wall.
The collision through the
It
wall is
went
not great.
straight through the
So,
wall.
so you will go straight. You will go through walls sometimes because the collision.
I mean, I have the ability to do that anyway. Not a big
I mean,
deal.
yeah, that is his thing.
That is his
Yeah.
thing.
Oh, maybe that was a bad example then.
How do
but
I
yeah,
unfollow?
Just
you
move.
Just move yourself.
Okay.
Just move away. So one of the things, so if you do the R, if you hold on R and then use your mouse, you can actually rotate your token. It'll have like a little thing that comes outwards that you can do. You can spin your token around. You can also do conventionally in the same other ways that you were able to rotate before. So I had like the sentry thing fly in and it was like, oh, I want to see things. I can rotate around,
That's kind of cool.
point at things. Yeah. I didn't think that one would come up with you all, but maybe it will if you have to, if it turns your tokens by it follows. It could be a little annoying. All right.
Well, I will definitely not follow Tardan anywhere, but the follow may come in handy.
So we don't need to move tokens per se at this point. I'm gonna probably put you on the north side at least, and let you explore a little bit of that. So, because there are other chambers, there's other halls and things if you wish to explore them. But if you really just want to like go up the staircase and go back to the first floor of the tower, you can park yourself and that'll be totally fine.
Yeah, we didn't go
Explore
north at
these
all.
sides.
We just bailed.
No.
Yeah. Because lo and behold, I was right. There were giant death robots coming.
Oh, what is this?
The sentries are just kind of hovering there as you pass through. They're kind of looking at you, inspecting, almost as if they're confused and unsure if they should like return back into their previous position or if they should still going. So you both, Athos and Tartan, have gone into very similar chambers, so they're a little bit different, slight things. So these large rectangular chambers have a 12-foot ceiling. Their sandstone and metal pillars extend to brace the ceiling. There's a metal grate with flowing water underneath, and it works through the room between the pillars. At the center, for one of your rooms, or for the other room, which is what Tartan has, they have more of these tub-like vats, but the other one has more of a cylindrical-like vat. Regardless, they have about a height relevant of the actual ceiling. Like they go up all the way to the ceiling and they brace into it, anchoring through. And that was very similar to the Well of Nine Realms that was showcased. There are a mixture of different like bronze and copper pipes and valves, and they sit underneath them, as well as the actual ceiling as well, and the inner workings of that. There is a single lever, and it's welded into a metal plate, and it sits attached to the vent. Adjacent to the vat are metal desks with a variety of drawers and things that can be used for storage of equipment and tools and whatnot. Each desk is accompanied by a single bronze valve with toggles and levers attached. The purpose of them is to open the opposite end, flood with water, close the opposite end, and open it to extract. So both these chambers are just like water extraction chambers. This is where you'd imagine that they could get the water out and start conducting experiments. Now, we see a series of two shelves made from the same material as the wall, and it resides around the chamber. So the same way with the study chambers, these as well have their books and their volumes in the indentations of the wall spaces. The differences with this is that they are all very hodgepodge, and there are many of them are just missing spaces. I mean, imagine this room being huge, they have many different volumes, and they're loose-leafed, some of them, and unbound, suggesting that this was somewhere that notes were moved around a lot and shifted and things and used. And there's just scrap paper everywhere, it seems. Many of it decayed and weathered. Now, some of the details, of them that you're kind of observing from the tables, that you're just kind of getting a quick scan over, unless you make your way further into the room, they are kind of crude in earlier studies. Many of them have like slight diagrams of like different, maybe artificer type experimentation. Maybe they're trying to make a glove of some kind that can harness the water and use it for a variety of applications. So that is what the actual loose leaf papers on the tables are really showcasing, just like crude and early studies. Now, these long metal desks with drawers as well, similar to those around the vats, they have are kind of filled, if you will, with artificer tools, like tinkerer's tools. So if you need any sort of tinkerer's kits, you're going to be able to get one. You can definitely find enough tools to be able to do that. Above them are a series of levers that kind of dangle downwards from some sort of box that's anchored. The box is slightly metal. And the levers on some of them are actually turned a certain way that these kind of claw, like almost like a kind of a hand kind of coming downwards, holds certain tools, like larger things. You know, certain, if you're trying to cut a massive piece of metal or if you're trying to do things, right, that's what they're doing. So these claws are actually holding them into pocket spaces above the chambers. And then they use the levers and they're able to pull them down, maybe even using the levers to make that tool work without them having to hold it, because some of them are extremely large. You know that many of these individuals were gnomes, so they weren't very large. So that is the gist of these spaces. There's not much else to describe at this present time for both. And then Ares, I'm assuming you're following along, so I'm just going to plop you into one of the rooms so you have vision.
I'll let you know if I don't follow along.
Like Athos would search to see if there were any near complete or at least partially assembled, like any sort of device or contraption or invention that they were working on that maybe they didn't quite finish, just sitting around.
Okay. Go ahead and roll either investigation check or perception. All right, 23. So you begin to pass around and see, and this is all filled with things that they have been completed, right? The difficult part for you is that you don't understand the language, so you can't really run through some of the manuscripts that are detailed in here too well, right? Some of the side notes and the cliff note kind of thing. But
Right.
from what you can understand is that the applications were of such variety that you would need to be very specific on what you're looking for. They were making almost like a toaster, or they're making right, or they're making something to pluck seeds from a flower very intricately, you know, or they're making
toilet.
glassware eyewear.
I would say, yeah, he would
for vision.
specifically, I think, be on the lookout for any sort of eyewear enhancing gear.
Yeah, and so you do find that with the tinkerer's tools, but it's not in a combat state. It's more for like, you know, if you're kind of zooming in on certain things, that can assist you. If you're looking for like goggles of the night or anything of that magnitude, you do not find that here. Like I said, these are things that they are in the process of creating. They have not fully created them yet.
Right. Yeah, I was just curious because they were studying time and divination, these other things. They just didn't know if maybe they were like cooking up goggles of the future sight or some crazy
Goggles
nonsense.
of future sight. It's possible, but like I said, even as high of an investigation check as you can make, unless you can read the material and run through it, it's going to be too difficult for you to do. I'm sure you can find a few of them that might stand out to you as something like that, but you would not be able to get further ahead.
Yeah, and I think he would pick out the most intriguing looking one and take it along with any notes that seem like nearby that probably pertain to it, just to
Seem relevant.
puzzle over later. Yeah,
Okay, sounds good.
just to play with later.
Yeah, that sounds fine. Okay. Tartan, you've made your way into this large glass vat with 20-foot radius sits in the center of the chamber. Vat extends to the ceiling, continues through the floor to a network of bronze copper pipes and valves. Single lever welded into a metal plate sits attached to the vat. Series of 4 shelves made of the same materials. The wall contain research volumes, much of which relates to dispensing experiments conducting by these researchers. So this is but the other one was extraction. This is actually dispensing. So this is where they would actually create cocktails and mixtures of other things and displace them. So in addition to the shelves of actual research, many of these shelves are filled with different spell reagents and potions and things, all of which are labeled in Gnomish, and they're all about the space. Now, in front, again, same metallic table, right, or desk. It's anchored into the vat. It has the drawers. It also has the different things to be able to operate the dispensing mechanism, which is exactly the same. It has some sort of interlock chamber pulling the lever. You can flush the liquid of whatever you've done or solid, whatever it is, into the vat.
And then is there? So I know that obviously it's just a token, but is there actually a book on this that was kind of left here, or is there anything on this table that looks like it was left kind of right before whatever disrupted the upstairs?
Yeah, make a investigation perception check. Natural 1. Tarn, you make your way up to the desk. You see a journal. You open it up. It's written in Gnomish. You can't understand it. And from what you can tell, this is it. This is the big baddie, baby. Some sort of arcane textbook of the ancients.
I will take it.
Sounds good.
Pretty much a turn thing to do. I'm just gonna looking for what was left, whatever they were working on last, type of thing.
Yeah, gotcha.
So that's
It's
fine.
literally a smut novel or somebody's diary
Probably.
or something.
Oh my god.
It's
Gnomish smut.
Gnomish smut. I love it. That's so funny. All right. Athos, you walk into this space. It's exactly the same. This is another dispensing chamber in here.
And this water looks tainted like all the rest.
The water does appear to be tainted like the rest. The every water space, every vat, everything that you've seen suggests that this water is not clear crystal like it should be. If it is something that's a spring on the isle, or if it's some underground aquifer or something, however it is that they're pulling the water, it should be clear. Right. Unless it's this is not. It's pigmented with the black and that color.
Yeah, I would like to collect some in a water skin, just as a curiosity for later, maybe.
Okay. So you'd have to do that from the extraction. There's no real way of getting the liquid out from this particular chamber, but maybe
From the
the
other room, yeah.
yeah, the other room, right? When you were in there, you can get a water skin full of it. Sure.
Cool.
Hey, Athos, you seem to be rather skilled in medicine. All these potions and things around here, do you think they're... Should we take some?
The potions.
Yeah, there were potions and things on the walls.
Yeah. So you have in this chamber in particular, which is different. This chamber has a series of 4 shelves, some of which contain research volumes like the other space, but they also have a multitude of spell reagents and glass vials, as well as copper jars and other sorts of containers filled with a variety of potions, right? Different sorts of liquids and things.
Fascinating, yes. I suspect many of them are likely more alchemical in nature for their experiments with water, but it could be some of them are useful.
I'm sure that we can find a way to learn Gnomish once we return to civilization. I'm assuming we're going back to civilization. If not, my new power is kind of pointless.
But you just, have a nice chat with Nereus every night. Yeah, I will look for actual potions and not just reagents. Something that's already put together.
Okay. So you're just looking at potions. This is going to be more of a, because it's obviously labeled in Gnomish. You can't know
Right.
that. But you can try to bounce it off of something in your knowledge, maybe an Arcana check, bouncing off of, hey, this liquid looks the same color as this, so that might be something there. That's the best that I can do. 18, and again, we're kind of looking at what would you be looking for in context of these potions? Like, what would call out to you?
Chunkiness.
Right. So the giant's toenails. No.
Have they separated
Either-
into oil, water, and magic?
Like healing or magical properties, as opposed to I'm guessing most of them are probably more for experiments, and so anything that looks more like maybe something they created as a byproduct of their work, so it would have bolstering properties or healing properties or something useful for us. less research based.
So probably something tucked into a corner instead of something that's front and center. Yeah.
Possibly, yeah. And there would be far less of it. Like if there's 30 of them, that's something they were using every 5 minutes. If there's one of them, it's probably something else.
Yeah. Okay. In one lower left shelf, on the back side of the space, there's a jar of liquid with this whitish glowing liqueur inside of it. What you can understand is that that material is not from this plane.
Oh.
Fascinating.
Oh.
Oh.
Beyond
What
that,
variety?
and there's only 2 different glass vials of this. They have a diamond-shaped stopper that's filmed in the same crystal as is the flask. It's like an airliner flask. It has kind of a round bottom to it in a way. But the contents inside, even with an Arcana check of an 18, beyond knowing it's from a different plane, something that you yourself have not experienced, but it would be something that you would have familiarity with based on your backstory. That if there was maybe a celestial spring or a water source, or perhaps it's reagents that were grafted within some sort of celestial's domain and then inherited that celestial's power into something, that would be what you would be referencing at this point. I guess not like a holy water per se, but like a souped up version of like a tears maybe of some celestial.
Interesting. I have to examine these closer later. Don't want to take up too much time. Was there anything else we wanted to look at? Was the other side much like this, Todd?
Yeah, it's probably a mirror. I'm guessing that the one up north on this side probably was an extraction chamber of some sort to get the water out, because this puts the water back in. Yeah.
Yeah, there's lots of tinkering, and I grabbed some doodads to play with later. If any of us ever learn to speak Gnomish, it would be much faster.
I probably should have grabbed some doodads from the other side, but I didn't think about it.
Oh, he would have also, if there were, you said there were Tinker's tools laying around, he would have grabbed some of those too.
Okay, yeah, it's basically, I mean, if you're looking to get Tinker's tools, you can gather enough supplies to be able to do that. So
Yeah, just to go with it's a full kit of tools and the thing they were working on and some notes he can't read.
that's good. All right, I'm gonna put the Tinker's tools into your inventory. So just Athos and Tardan.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, they're in your inventories.
All right, back
Should we-
upstairs.
Yeah, move up.
Bernarius is tired of waiting on us.
I mean, he rather enjoys his time alone. It can be therapeutic.
Okay, so Nereus, what are you doing inside of the chamber? Are you looking for anything? And then Ares again, I'm just dragging your token along. I noticed that you were invisible. My bad, I didn't realize that they've changed that look for it. I thought you were invisible.
So it's just a giant column like what Tardan looked at in the other room.
That's correct, and this one is for extraction. It has multiple different of those interlock chambers within there, right, that you can reach in and get to pull the water out. So there's multiple spots that these gnomes or these researchers were extracting the waters in here and then carrying them over to their workbenches.
Okay. Well, he'll like open one up and kind of put his hands in to the water.
Okay. Well, there's not really a way that you can pull your hand. Let me frame this in a way. So you have 2 different doors, and you have a space between, and that's fit into the glass of this vat. And so what they were doing is they used the levers to plunge water into that space, and they sealed the door, right? And then you can open the outer door, and then the water can just flow outwards, right?
Okay. I mean, that's fine.
Okay. So as you do that, you're kind of opening and the water kind of flows outwards. You can have it inside of your palm of your hand or flow into a device or whatever, however you want. Just let it go downwards. That's why the gratings underneath, right? and you let it flow down upon your hand. As it happens, purple and pink cackling lightning begin to entrace about your hand very suddenly and spark.
Well, this will be interesting. All right, and I'll head back.
Okay. Okay, so you begin to head back with the rest of the party, proceeding upstairs as you all head for the first floor of this tower. So at this point, we're going to go and take a quick break. Take 5-10 minutes. Obviously, we did a lot of time doing testing stuff into the things. Make sure you get enough time to play today before Harrison decides, Destin decides they both need to go to sleep. Or,
I
get
am
tired of fatigue.
ripping my way through a whole box of Oreos. Man.
I could tell everyone's
now.
cameras off right now. I'm sure everyone's eating. Everyone's having a good time. No worries.
I am cramming Oreos. I promise.
And then Adam actually put the door thing, so I know Adam's not here. That's so cool. It works. I love it. All right, who's raised their hand? What was that? No, I'm just kidding. All right, so we're gonna take again 5-10 minute break. I'm gonna keep recording, and then I'm gonna transition it to the break screen, so that way we can continue the recording seamlessly here. If you're watching, thanks so much. We really appreciate it.
Group 5?
Group 5. That still doesn't have a name.
All right, I do have to interact with the stream. Apparently that keeps popping up. Nice.
Oh God, he's here.
He brought the stones to the door.
What was that?
Waiting
He
for the
brought all the
giant
stones
pile
to
of
the door.
stones. Yep.
Okay, so getting back into it, I've got the stream back over. It looks like the stream view also gets barraged with pop-ups, which is super interesting. Every time we change. Okay, so watching, thanks so much. Really appreciate it on the VOD. It's awesome. So back into it. Hopefully, Justin, this is actually a really large map, so you're probably going to struggle loading into it. But as you come upstairs, you can see the same vivid light and the imagery passing through the kind of tunnel, the corridor that had that differing ceiling height that was not really the same as the outside as it passes through the actual tower and the inner wall of the tower and the inner spacing there towards the what is above the this Well of Nine Realms. So this actually, as you imagine, this could be like above it, or maybe this is like a part of those pipings. It's a part of the inner working. Somehow the water is the same as you observed below. And you can see Porig currently sitting on the ledge, the feet dangling down towards the water, and they're just humming to themselves.
Hey, Athos, it's your friend.
Well, what do you know? I wonder if he brought stones. I kind of hope not.
200 pounds of rocks, Nereus.
Thought it was 300
difficult.
pounds of rocks.
It's difficult to do
It's
this
going to be
accent.
hundreds of pounds of rocks.
Their,
Well, he's a gnome.
wooden and neatly polished quarterstaff is kind of a glow on the top end, kind of the craggle as it comes towards the center point of itself, the same twig that kind of come inwards. That part is kind of a lit of the actual staff, and they're kind of kicking and has the pipe in mouth.
Was there always a purple dot?
Oh, the hell are you all doing in here?
Hi, Porik.
Oh,
We
Nice to
just
see you again.
yeah. Hi. You notice also the accent of the character has changed. Who are all of you? What are you doing here?
We had some business with the old one that we've concluded now.
Business with the old one. My goodness. You all must be the chosen ones.
Indeed.
Well, let me introduce you myself. I am Headmaster Porig, and I have been awaiting chosen ones. The old ones have stated you would come at some point, and, well, I've been tasked with the utmost diligence of curing the Isle's waters from corruption that Davidar has been placed upon it.
Indeed. He told us as much.
Oh,
That
well,
is a great
fantastic.
responsibility.
Good news.
You also told us as much about an hour ago.
How did you get down? I told you. What do you mean I've told you? And how did you get past me? Swear I've been here for an hour at least. How long did you
I feel
spend
like
down
you
there?
might be... we've for a half hour or so. Hour, maybe?
Seems like time has gotten the better of me. Oh well.
It does seem to be rather strange on this island, to be fair.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Perhaps I can make you some tea.
Certainly.
All right. You
How
follow me
do we get out
this
of
way?
here?
Yeah. What? What'd
How
you-
do we get out of here just in
What?
case you disappear and forget us again?
What'd you say?
How do we get out of here?
Oh, how do you get out of here? Well, you just simply walk up to the door. It'll open. It's motion activated.
No, it's like a grocery store.
I don't know what that is, but if you make any more sort of modern comparisons, that'd be accurate. All right, this way. Follow me. Steps in the dial, teleports across.
We're all like, yeah, there's no way out.
Wait, are you telling me the portal leads to the tea room?
And then Ares, I'll drag you in there as well, so don't move your token. Thank you. So you teleport to the tiny space with a 10 or so foot ceiling height in here. You notice that Porig begins to move over to the orbs and begins to work in different manners of speaking in the direction of him. Now it's more like he's writing stuff, so he's kind of coming up to that white open space within the prismatic kind of orb here. It's glass, and he's that white space is kind of done. He comes up with a finger, and he's almost like writing in gnomish, like answers to whatever is phrased to the question. And he goes to each of the orbs, and then after the fourth one is done, stands in the middle, closes the eyes, falls asleep. Standing up.
Somebody poke Porig.
Hey, Grandpa! I'm gonna like flick his forehead, kind of like they do when they.
Apologies, I fell asleep. Yeah, damn thing.
I know what that feels like.
What? This should be working now. Apologies. He's taking the staff to the rune underneath. It's done. Turns and looks at one of the glass there. Looks towards it. One of the glass orbs begins to smudge a little bit on it. Takes the staff. It'll just be a moment, I swear. Damn you.
Can we help you with any of this?
No, you can't help me with anything. Oh, yes. There we go. He's just out underneath at one of the metal little nuts that are sitting with the metal, like the metal tube that, right, has the glass orb, sits in there, and it goes all the way into the stone floor. Kind of, there's like a nut thing that sits between the floor and the metal. You can turn that a little bit. Good. Yes, that's good. A green orb begins to fill the space around, and you are all teleported.
A very interesting character.
So, as you come into this space, appearing on the kind of a soft granite floor, engraved with a large conjuration rune and a small bronze plate, a staircase descends roughly 6 feet in front of you to a living and kitchen chamber. A fireplace burns bright with a dark blue flame. Couches made of plush cotton and wood sit about. The kitchen is lightly equipped with a cast iron stove. Old wooden cupboards, a bar for prep. Strangely, few potions of variety sit on top of the dark stain. A frayed and engraved double wooden door resides center of the western wall. A metallic door with a unique handprint sits in the northwestern corner. Tea it is. Tea it is. One moment, get the kettle on.
Oh, he remembers the tea, but he forgets us, huh?
I'm starting to wonder if this is not the Porig that we met an hour ago.
Begins to chant over the kettle. Places it on. Opens the stove. Fires some bit of fire inside. Closes it. Locks it. It'll be about a moment for the kettle to warm up. I suppose I could warm it up some other way, but this just seems right for some reason. Hello, chosen ones. Where do you all come from? How'd you all get here?
Believe it or not, we rode on the back of a dragon.
An undead dragon.
Back of a fucking dragon? My god. Undead dragon. That's hard to do.
What would seem? Believe we have Magello to thank for that one.
Jello. It's a name I haven't heard in a long time. One of the wizards of old. Founder of a wizard keep. I'll be a... haven't seen them for a long time.
He's apparently still kicking around.
Still alive.
So it would seem.
Texts say that he's a human, right? Should be dead. Old age. Anyways, I think it's grab different spices and herbs and things, and sure enough, grabs little clay cups, begins to mix different things into them. Yeah, you like your spicy? A little bit of anise, a little licorice.
Absolutely.
Some of the
Is that any
vegetation
whiskey?
on the isle is rather strange and foreign. A lot of people are used to it. What do you say, whiskey?
Yeah, whiskey.
What are you, an alcoholic? I don't have whiskey. Spoils the mind.
He reserves his pipe for that.
Pipe. Yes. Rightfully so. Ah, kettle. Grabs it. Oh, it's fucking hot!
Oh, do
Oh,
be careful.
I forgot it was so warm. Begins to mage hand it. Pouring. The clay monk. Begins to mage hand it back. Oh, well, here's your tea.
Cheers
Cheerful.
to new friendships.
Yeah, cheer.
I wanna spend
know
a first level-
Cheers, cheerful.
I want to spend a first level spell slot. I'm going to cast Detect Magic. I don't think this is the same guy.
Okay, so you begin to cast Detect Magic. What you're able to understand is that the magic about the space is consistent, so the walls and everything, suggesting that this, in fact, area, this chamber, right, is magical itself. Maybe not some of the furnishings inside of it, but maybe all of them, right? It definitely feels like some sort of tiny house or something in a way that's been constructed. They themselves have magical items on them. You're able to feel that magic there. You're unable to really kind of pinpoint the source, particularly of the magic, besides one ring that's currently on the pinky that's slightly gold with a red gem in it, and then a silver amulet that's kind of this very foresty like symbol, like kind of like a shrub bush with different intertwines of lattice silver that comes out of the brooch, or the pendant, I should say. The quarterstaff doesn't seem to be magical. They also have different reagents and things that might be giving off some little bits of magic, but they themselves as a person are not magical.
No effect. No blatantly clear effects of illusion or anything like that.
No, you do not actually detect any school of illusionary magic upon the character.
So it's possible this is the real Porg and the last one wasn't.
That is possible. Yeah.
Well, I think it's less about when I say I believe we've encountered a different Porg. It's not that it's not the same Porg, it's just the when. The Porg of now is not the Porg of then, if you follow.
I think I do. However,
Go ahead.
I wonder if it's not also possible that the Who is also different. We were. It would be strange to me that his accent changed.
As someone that has partied hard, I can tell you that the stuff that you smoke can do some things to you. I have not seen this one puff on a pipe with the same cackling lightning as before.
Yes, I somewhat suspect that the one from before is much further along in life than this one.
Yeah, I hear you. Maybe yes, but I have to accept that possibility.
I mean, you're not wrong. It could have been a trick, perhaps. Although they seem to have the same allegiances and desires, so I'm not sure that. the
Hey,
goal of the
Porg,
trick-
Yes.
your deal with the old one, what was his gift to you in exchange for trying to cleanse the...
Well, I've connected with the old one for a long time. We've had a early connection. I would say we have been, well, I didn't particularly get any sort of gifts, more of just insights into the future. And then when the Talthars attacked, that is when I had requested that I could get some sort of foresight into what they would be doing. But I was, for lack of a better word, trapped here. And perhaps my story could alleviate what is upon all of your faces is utter confusion. Why don't you all take a seat on these nice plush couches here? And I can be an old gnome for once and tell you all a story.
It's just like the grandfather that I never had.
Sounds delightful.
Can I call you Grandpa?
If you would like to call me Grandpa, that's fine. I'm not a grandfather. Maybe I'm a grandfather of research and time. Who knows? Some distant parallel place.
Yeah, you can be my honorary grandfather.
Oh, I appreciate that. I didn't catch your name, by the way. I don't catch any of your names.
I am Tartan Salingale.
It's a good name.
I am Aries.
Oh, Aries.
Didn't you know our names last time? See, I told you it was out of order. My name is Athos Villar.
Wow.
Pleased to meet you.
No, you do.
I'm Nereus.
Aries. Oh, fantastic. What? Am I forgetting? No, I'm not forgetting. Seems like I've got all your names. Well, you can call me Porrick or Headmaster Porrick. I used to have a family name a long time ago, but it was long given away after I devoted myself to my studies. Now, let me tell you this story. It will cause you much problems, so not many problems, but it might duplicate information. You've spoken with the old one. I'm not entirely sure what they've fully conversed with you about, but let me begin my monologue. I was on the ground, Felgen, performing my usual task of collecting vegetation and water. As I knelt nearby a wattle swade, I heard the roar of dragons. I hid in the tall grass of a nearby grassy knoll and became invisible to the simple eye. I saw Ithrin, spawn of Javarik, Romina, spawn of Cressiba, Belza, spawn of Raelza, Horad, spawn of Asku, and Erithun, spawn of Berithun. But there was another, a young black dragon that had a shroud of necromantic energy about it. The others called it Grugash. I had never seen or heard of this dragon before. It's very strange. Probably you get to hear about ginormous dragons. And they write stories and tales about them for a time, especially in Arthuria. This was rather strange. Anyways, losing train of thought. A silver-haired, pale human with yellowish and gold eyes, wearing a gold and red Archmage robe. They were riding Erithun. This purple and pink cackling lightning emerged around them in a smog of black. Horan and Belzar were reluctant to be there, but this human used the magic somehow to control them, in addition to holding two objects, which I was too far away to see in great detail. I even attempted to perceive with some clairvoyance on the situation, get closer, using my magical means of divination. But I was not unable, I just could not see this human. What they were holding, I couldn't see anything about them. Except for the dragons, it was strange. Now, I can speculate, after I've spent so much time on what these objects would be, and I did not know what they were at the time, but I believe now I do. It has been long speculated that dragons emerged from a single ancestor. The stones thereby. Two objects with stones in the hands. They must be the essence of dragons. You see, a creation of prime elementals to assume dominance over the prime material plane. Anyways, the human went in to the tower to Felgrim, and the smog followed, billowing outwards with sparks of that similar lightning. Soon the whole tower was engorged by it. Bright flashes of light emerged from the top of the tower like a lightning rod, splitting and striking into each dragon. Belzar was being held down, but after the strike, Arathun released them. The human walked out of the tower as the magic about them retracted. They mounted Arathun and left. Horan looked upon Belzar with shame and sorrow, with remorse. Horan even apologized before flying off. Belzar remained and cried for a time. I thought about approaching, but I did not trust after witnessing all that I saw. Belzar was reluctant to be there, and now released and still did not fly away of their own accord. I only assumed some sort of further control. Soon enough, the silver dragon left. I rushed back to Felgrim, and to the Well of Nine Realms. If any enchantment of this power was to be done, it had to use the Isle's waters. It's what we at Felgrim had done hundreds, thousands of years, trying to understand the properties of the water. Even before our gnomish ancestors arrived, there was others here before us that was studying the waters. That's how we knew that they were important. Also, the time, dilation, the cost. Anyways, I'm getting lost. Train of thought. Now, the Isle's waters were black and lifeless. I tried to reach out to the Old One, but I only received fragments and images. Much of the magic in Felgrim was drained, including my teleportation circle to the sister tower in Jinrala. I spent years contemplating what had happened, what spell rituals cast, but I could not make any proper conclusions. As such, I pleaded acceptance to the Old One at the well, for it had offered to provide me gifts. Once more, as I stated, not entirely giving me things. Now I went all in. I became imbued with sight to see past, present, and future. Grabs the pipe, shakes it. In addition, I stopped aging, even though the Isle's time distortions already greatly extended my life. But even with the sight, I could not see what exactly happened. A barrier of divination protection is with them. I can see, as I have attempted to, but it is within each of you as well. That is very peculiar. Very peculiar indeed. Now, sure you all have lots of questions. And unlike the horrible dungeon master that all can helps you and runs this game, wants to keep all the information hidden away, I am actually a source of true information.
He really can see past the fourth wall.
He can.
Quite literally.
So do you think if this ritual that was done here is the source of whatever Damodar's machinations are, does it need to be undone here?
I believe that it needs to be undone for the Old One to assume its power. Now, I do want to clarify, power is not something that I think the Old One has any real concept of. I truly believe that they are of a single purpose to something outside of the dimension of time that is just completely away from our own reasoning. And as such, I am in the nature of preservation. The Old One was here long before creatures. They had touched the Isle and helped create, I would imagine, the world that we exist on. So it is of our importance to preserve that work. Could it be that as simple as a remove curse, a dispel magic? I think not. I've tried. Could it be maybe getting to the source of the corruption? Something to do with the essence of dragons, perhaps, or maybe the magic that this person possessed. Getting them back here. Just having it around. I don't know. I have spent the last 9 years. Well, it's been a lot more than that, howbeit. But the Isle works. It's very tricky on time. And I will assure you that your time here is spent, and, well, it will be worth it in the end.
So how exactly does the time difference work? If we've been here for maybe a few hours at most, how long has it been outside the island?
Yes, well, I have been here on a 3-to-1. It's essentially 9 years, so 27 years. So it's much slower here on the Isle, but ever since the corruption has been dealt, something broke. Time plays differently with certain objects of matter. It is quite strange. In fact, if you find common organic materials, they age faster. Much faster, in fact. But things that would be inorganic, or the likes of what pervious to time, they are very well preserved, in the same nature as they were before.
What do you think you could do if you happened to have Essence of Dragon on hand?
I don't know. I can only speculate on the matter at hand, that the essence of dragons plays some key role in whatever has been done to the dragons. Could it be coming back here with them? Be enough to remove the corruption? Well, I would imagine that the Old One would say so. The Old One did not, did they?
That is correct.
It's only told that the Chosen Ones would arrive, and they would bring what it was that I speculated. It seemed rather strange for the Old One to put me to the task of curing the Isle's waters, and not inform me that the same thing I speculate would be the potential cure for that corruption. They seem awfully fixated on stopping Damodar, a name that they provided me, which I assume is the human.
Yes. That is our approximation. Interesting. Yeah, that was one of the things I wanted to ask you, was how you thought you were going to go. I mean, you've been tasked with cleansing this corruption, but I suppose you don't quite know yet how to go about doing that.
Oh, of course not. In a matter of 27 years, I have yet to find any sort of reasonable conclusions, and, well, I have thought a long time of trying to get off the Isles, but there's not many that make way here. I've only seen a pirate ship of sorts of late arrive on the shores of the Western Dock, which is still there.
Pirates?
I don't want to be involved with the likes of them. Plus, my studies are all here, especially for the Isle's water, so I would love to get back to the Sister Tower. But
Where is the Sister Tower?
it's in Jinbrala. It is to the southwest of the marshes of Valen. Right on the bluff, the outskirts. It's very tedious and difficult to get to from the shore. You have to climb massive hundreds of feet of bluff.
Well, and you say you had a teleportation circle, but it no longer functions.
I did. What you need to know is that you cannot teleport out of this space. Teleportation is a very, very convenient trick, but it also requires the same space that you're teleporting to exist on the same time. If I were to teleport, I would not reach my destination. Not off the island, anyway. See what I'm saying?
Oh, well, so you could end up at your destination on a different timeline.
It could be very well indeed. I do not wish to see it. Having a teleportation circle in place, a material manifestation of this conjuration, means that I can sync the times across space, like folding a piece of paper in half. Just like a wormhole. Harrison's over there
Does it
just
have to
laughing.
spin?
Does it have to spin?
Spin.
Oh,
It does spin when you make
It
the
does. It does spin. Oh, it does.
When he gets his teleportation circle up to 88 miles an hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
It's working.
Yeah, right.
So you've been here. You were here during the purge.
Oh,
and you
yes.
Stayed. It was,
was
long
the-
after that you saw the dragons.
Oh, yeah, very much indeed. Yeah. You must understand, time moves very slow on the Isles. So let me construct a time frame for you, relevant to your time. This would make a lot more sense, I'd imagine, as you kind of an understanding of how things work. So, the Isle of the Blessed was discovered over 1,000 years ago by gnomish ancestors. There was already creatures living here. They were not elves, or humans, dwarves, or really any sort of conjuration you can possibly imagine. Our ancestors chart them as these amorphous beings with large hulking torsos and legs. They existed in this state of frame that was of pure energy. Rather interesting. My ancestors had great skills over magic and the arcane themselves already, after they were pushed away from Temerian colonizers. They set off for befriending the creatures, and soon enough they realized that they were only really there as manifestations of the Isle itself. These creatures didn't actually exist, they were just small bits of like lighting or something that exists on the Isle. Unfortunately, you don't see these manifestations anymore, the Isle's corruption. Destruction of Felgin began 1,400 years ago. 282 years ago, the age of the Great Purge began. Felgim was seen as a potential safe haven for the First Reckoning. King O'Hearn Talthard made a royal decree to decimate the Wizarding School and remove it completely. I was the last and current headmaster, along with other devoted instructors and researchers. We stayed while others fled. Now, you might be wondering how we knew about such things. Well, being a divination and college of magic school, that might be self-explanatory for those that wish to know. We made great efforts prior to this to remove the students that did not wish to stay. I do want to declare, and the rest of the city. It was very important that we spaced them. Most of them went to other places in the continent. Others went to different continents themselves. They found homes, and I would say, maybe even a majority, decided to just do away with the arcane. Very sad. Very troubling. Anyways, a war broke out, and it lasted months. We fought back the Telthars, but we were not as powerful as their divine might. They are very powerful, the Telthars, and they hide their own arcane in secret. The Empyrean College and the Society of Falthor are extremely potent with their evocations and conjurations. Many of us were slain. I fled, along with others. As I fled, made way to a place that we called Jinmula. We began to gather the refugees, bring them to this place, and we decided to construct a tower that we could connect with Felkin, so that we could sync time and teleport across, in hopes to salvage what was in the labyrinth. All the years of research and studies. We promised that none of our descendants would know about Filgon. We did not want them in harm's way from the Talthars, so we kept it in secret. This is where it becomes difficult. Jinralar was attacked. And this happened in the time frame of which I was here. And when it was attacked, I was lost in studies and communications with the old one, with this very thing. I discovered that the village was attacked by an undead horde that spewed from the marshes. I only hoped that the refugees that made way from this event were safe. And they were, many of them. Elvish Rangers, the Ivrai, helped move them outside of the marshes to Fort Farron. Kept themselves hidden, secret. Stayed there for a time. Many connected with an individual called Paxina. An old, very, very old person. Someone that keeps himself shrouded, but also speaks truth. I did not act. For that I apologize, but this was more important to the grand scheme of time. I needed to await all of you. But there was a troubling. The old one had stated that there would be a troubling event. The very world was at stake. The Amadar seized to destroy the world, regardless of how many they slaughter. Might seem cute that a war has broken out and creatures fight against creatures. The Amadar is a true mastermind. The old one has only spoken very little of what they would do. They've only given me small bits of imagery. Then, 9 years ago, that is when Dalmadar came.
So the undead at Jinralar, that was sometime before Damodar showed up.
It is correct. I believe it would be 21 years your time.
I had somewhat thought that to be partially his doing.
I haven't done much. The marshes are protected by necromantic magic. My divination can only perceive through the fog very little, and even then is only filled with images of horrendous undead creatures. Cries and howls and shrieks. Moans. Disgusting.
Yes, it does not sound very pleasant. So the old one told you that we would come. Did they tell you what we would be doing, or
No.
where
no.
we would be going?
No, no. No, the old one cannot. Especially for the likes of you. Are you all familiar with the concept of the Chosen One prophecy?
Somewhat, although honestly the old one filled in more details than anybody else has. It's all rather new to me, at least.
So, the Chosen One prophecy has been created numerous times on Antares, across many different libraries and scholarly tomes, and the same wording, the same line, speaking of those who will restore order amidst the chaos. It's written in almost identical ways, in whatever language suits the place. Now, such a vague riddle is not in the matters of great divination. Divination aims to fulfill things of certainty, not of this bullshit. But there is truth to it in that way. That perhaps the prophecy only speaks that it does not know, or cannot know, how it will be done. There comes a time when you must see that there are many futures, and prophecy will speak to you and those futures. You might believe that some of them will happen, and they will, but others will not. Free will still exists. But for all of you, I dare say that there is no future that can be predicted. And that is what truth is in the prophecy.
So I suppose whatever we do is the right thing, in some sense.
That is precisely correct. You can do no wrong. I mean, in the concept of prophecy, right? Think about what you attempt to do, but don't go off and just start murdering everyone. Seeing that one look in the shadows, staring off me like the cowards, scaring the shit out of me. I'm just kidding. You still have to be in the bounds of common law, and society, of civilization, but in relevance of the dimension of time and the cosmos of probability and fate, it would seem that no matter what you do, it cannot be predicted. There can be no wrong. Perhaps that is your greatest weaponry.
I do suspect that might be why Damodar is concerned with us. That he simply can't know what we're going to do.
Same way that I cannot know what you all will be capable of or will do, is the same way that I do not know what Damodar will do.
There do tend to be a lot of uncomfortable parallels between ourselves and he.
I have long tried to reason of how the Old One knows that Damodar would do such evil. How would them, who I cannot predict the future of, know of what evil possesses? That is the Old One, you see. The Old One sees all futures and looks through all of them.
The power that Damodar wields is extremely similar in nature to the power that we have seen from the Old One, and even yourself to some degree. It is as if they have come from the same place.
It is possible. I do know the Old One has given their gifts to others. They have spoken as such. They cannot refuse. It is strange. It is not a compulsion. No. It is almost as if everyone is destined for a gift. And that
If
it
they
must
simply
give
ask.
them. Strange. More tea? You want refreshments?
Yes, of course. Absolutely.
Of course.
It strikes me, your story of this island, especially the ancient history of it, its connection to other places, other things, I'm familiar with the history of an island closer to where I come from called the Isle of Torment that was destroyed long ago.
Ah, yes, the death of the timekeepers.
Indeed.
Yeah. I believe
There
the
seemed to be
isle
an
was actually named something else before the tournament. Go on, sorry.
Well, it just there struck me again, as there are many parallels between ourselves and Damodar. There seem to be many parallels between that island and this one.
I say that it would be true, but could it be that both the isles were touched? It's possible. I would imagine so. The
That one
timekeepers were
clearly, by
foolish. You know what the timekeepers
Is
were
the-
doing, don't you?
yes, well, they were. Aside from playing with time, they tapped into something far more powerful than they were capable of handling.
Oh, well, most likely or sure, they were attempting to. Do you not know what the bloody historians get all wrong all the time? What do you. What do you imagine timekeepers would be doing? Why do you think they called them timekeepers?
Well, I can only imagine they sought to master the timeline, to bend it to their liking.
Precisely. They started off ruffling in the many different colleges, universities that formed the society there for the free Nova City State on southern regions of Pycaris. They set out to understand all time, all events in time. They wanted to chart a whole diaphragm, a whole thing of all time. When creation happened, when this happened, when that happened. But they were stumped because their timeline ended. I would say now it'd be roughly 360 some odd years. 3,600 some odd years. It just ended. Whenever they went back behind that time, further past that, they were only met with cryptic and vague conclusions. As if these things might have happened or they didn't. There was some point in time. So the timekeepers set out to understand that. That's what they changed, right? I mean, might as well. We can't go any further past that and foresee when creation's happening. So when the fuck did it happen, right? Let's figure out why this is going on. So the timekeepers decided that they would find a way to assume that power. If they themselves were not capable of divination, to go into the past events and such, then they would try to find something that would. They were creating a weapon. They were creating a weapon to break the timeline. We are constructed in the bounds of whatever event happened there, from then to now, and for the future. Was it something that was good or bad? Was there time before it? All manners of possibility are yes. There was obviously time before this event. But somehow this happened. And we should be figuring out why it happened. Not attempting to dismantle it, which is what the timekeepers decided to do.
They saw a problem and they decided to smash it.
That's precisely the point. It's foolish. And I'm sure there was many motivations from the colleges. Attempting to say if we get this power, then we can change time and we can manipulate it and travel back and these other things. Now, if I do recall, they did figure out what this thing was. They understood the event. But they did not stop. And they did not share it with the rest of the world. Their chronicles were lost. The keep, the tower, was destroyed. It was dissolved in molten rock. Nothing. That's just why they call it the Isle of Torment. Because it looks absolutely fucking disgusting. Once it was.
So, it strikes me. Obviously, this island has a connection to something very old. Yes. But the thing that is connected to this island seems perhaps benevolent is not the word, but at least benign. It has no ill will on the world. It actually wants it to continue. From everything I've read and heard about the thing that was connected to the Isle of Torment, it was very much not benign and wanted to consume and destroy everything it touched. It's almost as if there were two very old, very powerful entities that both had their fingers in an island on this world. One of them was not as nice as the other.
It is entirely possible. It is not
If-
unfamiliar to have opposing entities, deities, people, ideals.
Light and shadow.
Very much.
If the energy that Damodar wields is similar yet different from that of the old one, I wonder if perhaps there is some connection to that other island and that event way back in history.
Are you suggesting that Damodar is thousands of years old? Well, I mean,
Well, at the very least, he has perhaps the ability to manipulate or move through time.
that sounds troubling indeed. Very troubling. I could not imagine that. But if they could move through time, then what would they have any business dealing in this time for? That is the truth. It is quite late. You all arrived at a very unreasonable hour, I might add. And honestly, I'm trying to remember why I was down there. Like, honestly, I can't. He needs to light the pipe.
Before you puff that,
Eyes begin to cackle. Purple and pink. Oh. Who the fuck are all of you guys?
That must
What's
be
happening
some
here?
incredibly,
Who are
incredibly
you?
good shit.
Oh, yes, you're the ones down below. How did I get here? Meh.
You graciously invited us in.
I hate this tea.
Q&A.
It's so gross. That was good shit. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You got some
Takes down
whiskey?
at the bar. Grabs up with a bottle.
Todd, and I think you take it from here.
Are you going to share with the rest of the class?
No! Why would I share with you? I don't even know why you're here.
Because
Who let you in here?
you did. I suppose we should chat. We are the chosen ones. Run through all that. We talked to the old one, blah, blah, blah. We arrived on an undead dragon. All that fun stuff. I just want some of the drink.
Yes. There's your head.
You just say hold out my hand. What kind of barbarian are you?
I'm not a barbarian.
Watch it.
I'm a well-scholared wizard. Now,
I
put
think
out
it
your
is,
head.
To be fair.
I
Come
will
on,
hold out
go.
my hand just to see what happens.
That's good.
He's rolling to see how many fingers you lose.
Begins to stretch, mustering different verbal components at you. You fall stunned. Yep. My whiskey now. I'm going to bed. You know, make yourselves. Opens, shuts the door.
Well, it seems we've inherited a Tardan statue.
You can make another saving throw if you'd like.
What, Constitution?
Yep.
Now's your chance to draw something on his face, Marius.
My rolls tonight have been spectacular.
Okay, so Tartan, at some point, I'm not going to have you make saving throws, but you're kind of watching as Tartan is not ending this effect, and then eventually comes to, and you don't see a Porrig anymore. You're looking around, you don't see the bottle of whiskey. The rest of your companions are kind of staring at you at the present time, and no one interrupted any of that. So maybe Starstruck. I'm not sure.
Really can't hold your liquor, Tardan.
I didn't even get any of the liquor. Where is he? Where did he go? What?
He went to bed.
I had no idea you were such a lightweight now, Tartan.
I haven't drank in like 4 days. We've been underground. We've ridden in a dragon's mouth. I just wanted some fucking whiskey. I'm over it. I'm gonna go behind the counter and I'm gonna dig around and see if I can find anything.
Okay, you go behind the counter and you can see there's a couple different shelving units. Other times there's just like a wash bin underneath there. Different things. It's a kitchen, right? And you're beginning to thumb around and attempt to find. Eventually, you find a bottle of liqueur. It seems to be some sort of a compensation to like tequila or something like that. It's very tropical looking. Also has kind of these intricate runes upon it. And upon looking at them and studying the language, it seems to have come from the Tolkarvas Republic, which is a different place entirely.
Well, this sounds like fancy stuff that I wouldn't be able to afford, so I'm gonna drink it.
Where's it from?
Some aisle, I don't know, dude. You want some?
Go on.
Begin to pour it out. Similar clay mugs within the cupboard. There's also a couple tankards and different assortments of goblets and things. It's kind of a collection of small kitchen things, and so you're able to gather what you need, pour it out. Has a nice fruity kind of agave type flavor to it. It's not very alcoholic. It's more of like a mixer, if you will, but it's hinted with a little bit of hardness to it.
This is from the area I grew up in.
This actually has a specific name for this drink after you taste it. Very relevant to you. This is a celebratory drink that many elves have during like parties or festivals, like graduations and things. It's called Hos Lavin.
Well, cheers. I suppose we're celebrating me having all of my limbs still attached.
I am quite proud of you. Do you grew your hair back in record time?
Rather fetching.
I think you might have set a new world record for growing hair.
Let's hope it stops, though. You don't. If it kept going at that rate, it's problematic.
Who knows? You may never need a sleeping bag again.
Tripping. Nimble is sort of in the job description.
I mean, I'm sure you could braid it. That might take some time, but
Yes, you have to hire someone, a squire, just for your hair.
I'm sure you can afford it now. You are a half deity, it seems. We all are, I guess.
Some description. Do we get followers, worshippers?
I
fair,
think I will.
I've heard. Well, I say that is a knack of yours. I've heard stranger stories about deities. I suppose that anything is fair game at this point. I'd be surprised.
Well, to the rest of you who are not partaking in our festivities, where do you think we should go? Sounds like Jinrula and he mentioned Paxina in Fort Farron. who helped the
Yes.
Jinrula people get out, so they may be able to give us more information about the undead before we go to
Well, here's the
Jinrula.
thing: we have to get off the bloody island. We don't know if our dragon escort is still outside waiting to be a reliable means of conveyance.
Well, if he's not, we're gonna
Then I think
hijack a pirate ship.
I was gonna say it's either the dragon or the bloody pirates.
Personally, I'd rather deal with the pirates, but the dragon is
I mean,
faster.
I just it makes me wonder. It's what is a pirate to a 5 million-year-old gnome who forgets his name every 5 minutes? They could just be merchants for all we know.
But there is no one here to do business with, so why would they come
That's
here?
true. Especially and stay docked. They've apparently been there for some time. And like, why would you hang out here unless you knew something of this island? You needed to get away for a while without losing too much time.
You know, we also don't even have to fight them. I can just charm them.
You could have an army of pirates. You just have to not stop playing your lute for like 3 weeks while we sail to Jinrula.
That is true. I guess it is rather far, is it not?
That's
That might not
far,
work.
to be fair.
If you got tired being invisible for 5 minutes, imagine how that's going to affect me.
I mean, even if it wasn't magic, I don't imagine you could play the lute for 3 days straight.
Well, Nereus, Dougal, Ares. Do you think Fort Farron is our next stop to see Paxina and then on to Jinrula and the Marshes of Unveiling?
That
Since
seems logical to me, and it seems like the path that we were looking at following anyway before we got diverted.
I mean, Dougal, your quest lies in the swamps anyway, does it not?
It does.
It's a bit on the way. I mean, assuming we can either convince the dragon or the pirates to take us there. Or at least drop us off.
say the dragon didn't seem to want to do much with the marshes, but he may fly us over to Fort Farron, I would assume.
I don't know how well the fort would take us landing on a giant undead dragon, though. There could be problems getting in the door. It's a
Yeah, he
PR
can
nightmare.
He can just drop us off at Girder, right?
Perhaps. Somewhat nearby. Well, at any rate, I don't know that we're going to get anything else done in this tower.
Pardon's gonna take the bottle of very nice tequila and go find one of the couches and sit down and just keep drinking until he passes out.
You're gonna hit it hard, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
You're chugging
So you're
hypnotic,
talking-
basically.
You're talking like
Pretty
half a
much.
shot.
Tardan's had it. There's too much thinking going on.
Getting sorority mixer wasted right now.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you gonna chug it back, slinging it, make a con save.
I am
8.
killing it on my rolls.
Go through a couple shots, absolutely sloshed, feeling the vibe. You begin to play your lyre.
Oh, God.
Uh-oh.
Make a force check. Natural.
The only time I need to roll on that one.
As you're playing your lyre, you see the same little musical notes popping out, same electricity, lightning, and everyone does not need to roll a save here. You're able to beat that DC that was set forth by the performance check, and you all hear a horrible play. And after you go through maybe 10, 12 seconds of it, you kind of just sit back into the couch and like fall into it. Just kind of just absorb into the couch and are asleep, unconscious.
That's what, my second nat 1 tonight?
Yeah, you've rolled really low. We haven't really rolled like at all, yeah, but you've rolled extremely low.
That's right. You just cleanse the dice.
Very,
first. Just keep
very
going.
interesting.
Cleanse it.
I think my highest roll was a 4 on the last performance check. Jesus Christ.
So we are really late. I mean, that was not something we did. We arrived like in the middle of the night, so it's like in the morning technically, early in the morning. So you all are more than welcome to rest here. There is a plate, a step, the kind of plate in the room that you can actually teleport back down and eventually get back to the first floor and to the central chamber outside. So you don't have to stay here if you don't want to. But Porig is an old person, and they took a whiskey bottle, most likely to vegetate into that. Now, this door here that you've made way to Athos, again, it's a metallic door, which is the same design of the other ones. This one not circular. It's more semi-arch to the top and then rectangular. It has a description, a very specific handprint to it, that it would have to fit a specific individual, similar in fashion to an access of some kind.
Biometrics. Well,
I mean, you could try it. You could roll, your thieves tools. Like you could. That's definitely something you could do. Like try to find like a cushion, right, of the couch. Cut it out a little bit. Make a little handprint out of it.
Yeah.
Shape it. Yeah.
Let's
I mean, there's
do it. Why
possibilities.
not? I'm
Could.
curious. Yeah. Let's do it. And I will guide myself.
Oh, okay. Guiding as well. Well, I get to see if the guidance works. Oh, it does, but it puts on 2 of them. I wonder how it's going to work when you roll it. Like how big they are. It's super cool. They give you 2.
Boom!
It doesn't give you any of the guidance at all.
It didn't give me the guidance.
That's so interesting. Okay.
The same thing happened when you had Bardic Inspiration on earlier, right?
Yeah, Bardic Inspiration didn't go either.
Yeah, Bardic
All
Inspiration.
right, I'm rolling anyway, so it's a 31 on a natural 20.
31 on a natural 20.
I found out where all my luck went.
All right, so you begin to form a couch cushion and press it into the door. Use similar fashion to all the other doors. This one opens up in different kind of segments into the walls and reveals a corridor of some kind that begins to head in the left direction. I should say. Ceiling height is roughly 9 feet.
You guys don't think Porg will mind, right? A little peek. Taking Dougal.
I thought I was on. Yeah, good. Not allowed out of my
Yeah,
sight.
it's another bloody door.
This is another metallic door. Does not seem to be in the same fashion as the others. You see books around you in multiple different shelves, all written in Gnomish. This one has just a small metallic doorknob that's shaped in a triangular-like fashion, can be turned and looks like slid into the wall.
Does it appear to be rigged in any way?
You can roll investigation or perception, your choice.
Where'd it go? There we go.
$15. It doesn't look like it.
Rolls.
Not much, but you can tell.
All right, here we go. Oh dear God!
What the hell are you doing in my study? Holding a whiskey bottle, sloshing around, moving side to side, eyes going wide. Points the quarterstaff in your direction, begins to glow. Get the fuck back!
Fair enough. Just wanted to wish you a good night. You know, time moves really strangely here. If I had more time, I'd have you teach me Gnomish. That seems to be super handy language to understand.
Teach you Gnomish in the morning. I'll go back to sleep.
Excellent. All right. Good night then. Well, I found Porg. He's not in his bed. Or, I don't know. It's fucking weird. There's a study back there, but there's also an angry drunk gnome in it, so...
The door shut as you walk through and pass towards the couch, leaving you inside of the space once more.
Rusty. A very strange day. Nice to sleep and there's not snow or dragon breath involved.
Okay. Is anybody
I wanna-
doing anything in particular? Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I would just like to. I don't know. It looks like there's a bar countertop. I don't know if I can. Like, I'm lagging real bad on both the phone and the computer.
Yeah, I
But
can tell.
I'd like to. I'd like to walk up to that and see if I can't walk through it. Something a little safer than a wall to try out.
Okay. Do you want to walk through the bar?
Yeah.
Okay. So you begin to hold out your hand in the direction of the bar, begins to cackle with purple and pink lightning as it does. It kind of shoots out in the direction of the bar, tracing around it as it begins to form visage of a space. And eventually that blackness, as it's kind of rolling through, becomes light because the other side is hit. And as that happens, it actually transforms the material to phase it out of this reality. Just seeing like a crack at this point of the bar counter, right? And the end of it, wherever you pointed, the end of it has been completely consumed and now is in this just a space that's empty.
And I'm going to attempt to walk through
Okay.
to the other side.
So continue to channel outwards, kind of clenching your hand at this point. You feel there's still lightning channeling. This is an active effect, and you walk through. Now, on the other side of the bar, nearby the stove.
And I'll stop concentrating on it and see what happens.
Let go as it is. You see the lightning begin to trace back as if it's kind of revealing the object again, and then it kind of comes back to you, and the bar counter is completely unaffected or unharmed.
You can actually make doors.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just trying things out that if it does go wrong, it won't hurt too bad right now. I'm going to walk over to where Tardan's passed out and grab the bottle and take a swig myself.
Okay. Go over taking a swig yourself, getting sat down, getting yourself relaxed. Anybody else doing anything before they take a long rest here? No?
I'm good.
All right. Check this out. Did that work?
No.
That's
No.
obviously it's extremely disappointing. I thought that would work. How about hold on. Aries, did you get that?
I got this, yes.
Athos, did you get that?
Did I get? Oh yes.
Sir Julius,
Oh,
did
are
you
you
get that?
prompting us?
I'm prompting. Yeah, I apparently have to do it. I wish I think there's a way I can do it in mass, but
He has the power to make us rest.
I can prompt you to rest.
Interesting.
So supposedly this module actually searches for Song of Rest. It searches for like other things that would help you, like Chef's Feet, and will automatically do it.
Oh,
Nice.
So
all the little bonuses
it
done.
automatically does your temporary hit die, so you don't have to manually roll them anymore. It also looks for the features. If that works, I think it remains to be seen. I didn't have any errors doing it. So definitely some things there with the guidance. I'm kind of curious why guidance didn't go off, but so yeah, you all kind of rest up. I'm going to advance the time clock here to get relevant to the time. You'd all would wake up. Eventually, there you hear kind of a door swing open, and Headmaster Pori begins to walk outwards. Well, do you all have a good night's rest?
I slept like a baby.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, it seems I lost track of time. Must have fell asleep, and well, thanks for putting me to bed. Appreciate it. Breakfast, anyone?
Sure.
Gets to
I'm starving.
grabs a pot underneath the counter, sets it on, grabs one of the potions, hits a little bit of dots into it. Begins to invocate. As it happens, all of a sudden, food literally magically appears in the pot, hot, steaming, some sort of porridge filled with different sorts of spices and fruits. Begins to pour into small clay bowls with wooden spoons. There you are.
Can you teach me how to do that?
What? I can't
Can
hear
you teach me how to do that?
Oh,
Coming.
why? Are you a master of the arcane art?
Mm-hmm.
He's a simpleton of the arcane arts.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no. It's a complicated spell. Different reagents required to make this potion. And enchanting. I would say it's not for the meager or weak-minded. No offense.
Try playing your lute for him.
I'll do that when I try to get him to teach us Gnomish, because we need to learn Gnomish before we leave here today.
I think
Perhaps there's
on an island-
another in your companions that is far more suited to learning my potion of food generation.
Possibly.
Anyone? Anyone at all?
Yeah, I am not even close to smart enough for that.
No.
Smarty pants.
No, we're going once. Going twice. Maybe a third time.
Did Will fall asleep on us? He hasn't said anything since we got up here.
Will,
If you think I'm going to cook for you, you're grossly mistaken.
the
oh,
point
yeah.
is to not have to cook.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, but it still takes a lot of work to make this potion. I mean, I wouldn't want to cook for you either. No offense. You smell like alcohol. Oh, you reek of it. It's partaked in your own stash. Oh well. What's on the day's agenda? What can I help you all with today?
Well, we had hoped that perhaps given the fact that time moves slowly here, you could help us learn Gnomish. With a lot of the research and studies we've done recently, it would be helpful.
I could, yes. We can start with the basics. Why don't you all take a seat at the bar, at the table there, and we can begin our lessons for this morning. Are you all ready? Now, book appears, mage hands it. Another book appears, mage hands it. Speaking Gnomish, Volume 1. A tutorial by Headmaster Pori. I wrote this one myself. All right, we'll begin with the differences between A and Ah. Now speak it with me. I'm a gnome, and I say Ah. I'm a gnome. All right. I need each of you all to make intelligent checks. Flat. Never speaking Gnomish.
Oh, of course. I finally roll.
Mine needs to be small.
Fantastic. All right, so Athos and Tardy are the only one partaking in. No, but I see another one coming through. Ares is coming through with the 5. Sir Dougal's coming with the 13. And we got another one coming through. 2 intelligence checks. Mr.
Sorry.
Dougal. Unfortunately, Sir
That
Dougal.
was a trackpad mishap.
So, as you begin to take through, it takes a while. You can't just learn a language instantly. So you all are going to be sitting at this for quite some time. Is anybody else doing anything? Particularly Nereus, who's made way to the pool table?
Learning Gnomish.
Billiards.
Dwaddling with pool, maybe reading into your own spell book, lavishing yourself in perfumes, looking for a
Imagine
space
all
to
the-
rest.
The Gnomish arias you could sing if you knew Gnomish.
Only a sliver above Tardan with that comments.
Yeah, Dustin, we'll probably conclude soon since you're lagging out and stuff. It seems like we're getting to that kind of time for a transition to something else. So, so you take the moment here to learn Gnomish. It takes roughly half the day to get to a decent level, and then for those, except for Ares, unfortunately Ares, you unable to learn Gnomish on this day, but the rest of you have enough that you can speak it and really work on it on your own. It's not a language that you can instantly pick up and be like, oh, I'm going to be able to read it right now. But you can start getting phrases and speak it to each other. And then you might be able to take these books that the Headmaster Borg has given you and then learn how to read it as well, which kind of basically means you have the proficiency of Gnomish, right? After that has kind of partaked, just adjusting time for daylight and whatnot. Again, it's been a good most of the day. I'm sure Nereus, you're getting kind of fed up. Ares is getting a little bit frustrated not being able to learn it themselves. And you have a pretty good understanding that you can take this education further yourselves. As Headmaster Pora concludes, well, anything else I can help you all with? That should be enough for you all. Yes, F for you. Sorry. Nope, nothing. All right, well, hit the pipe for the day.
What is it you keep in your pipe that is fascinating?
Oh, it's a mixture of different herbs and spices, my own blending of delicious things.
There's a gold mine market you're just missing out on. You had an export business.
You all gonna be here all day?
I think we were just about to take our leave.
Good riddance. I gotta get outside, collect some samples. I think it's done around here if I don't do it.
Indeed. Good luck on your endeavor. Oh, he's gone.
Walks away, steps on it.
And he's gone.
He never did bring you stones.
I don't care. Let's leave.
Okay.
You.
So, as are we all leaving the tower completely?
I mean, assuming that we actually can.
Yeah, he said the door just opens.
Well, he said that, sure. He said a lot of things.
He hasn't lied to us yet.
Okay.
He's forgotten some shit.
You move up to the plate, you step on it, shrouds you in that bubble. You're brought back into the same space. Put your hand onto the plate that's there on the wall, teleport back, you begin to make way to the central chamber, and then you begin to head in the southern direction of the first floor. And as sure enough, the door in front of you all opens. As it does, and it's different kind of segments, it begins to sprawl open, and you're left to walk out of the tower.
What do you know?
Ugh. Trescall isn't here.
I kind of had a feeling he wasn't going to stick around.
The rain and the storm of once was is no more. Birds flock and move around of different variety, strange and foreign to you all, and the wind is breezing across the landscape of the rubble. You stare
Okay,
off
Todd.
as you... Look, go for it. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead, please.
Stare off in the landscape, looking through the clouds, seeing if the dragon's in flight. You don't see. You also don't see the dragon on the landmass anywhere around you.
Okay, Todd, are you ready?
Ready for what?
It's experiment time. Athos is going to again focus and try and blot out the light now that he's outside in the daylight.
Okay. So, as you begin to
implodes.
focus on, you see the lightning begin to trace around you. The lightning begins to fall downwards to the ground. As such, it begins to go in the direction of the space that you once were. The door is still open. It begins to pull at some of the orbs and to trace around those. But you notice it has a reach here. It's not going the entirety of this. And it seems pretty relevant to about 60 feet or so around you that it's pulling from. So quite far away. As it happens, it entraces some of that and begins to pull towards you. And the same similar fashion happens that you become invisible.
Oh,
So it doesn't have to be dark. I just need light to eat. Interesting.
so with Nereus around and the fact that he always needs light, you will always be able to go invisible.
But at the expense of taking away his light.
I'm sure he'll love you for that.
Once I finish these gnomish spectacles of bewilderment, he won't mind.
After only about 12 seconds or so, your invisibility begins to subside and the fatigue begins to set in, suggesting that what the light consumed was just not enough for what you attempted to do. It's trying to pull upon your own source, and you begin to retract, disassociating, fills those light spaces, but nothing comes of them. After a little bit, those lights recharge, and they again glow once more.
It would seem it's much more difficult with less light.
So that's the draw of your ability. The balance, the yin and the yang. What is the balance of the rest of them?
I imagine yours probably gets either more difficult the longer you maintain it, or perhaps the more people that you're playing for. If I had to guess.
I would guess mine is either the longer I stay in or the more I pass through, the more exhausted I get.
Who knows? Time will tell. Time will tell. So, Nereus, with no sights of Tresgall on your line, you continue to look. Do you reach out for Tresgall?
Sure. Tresco the Conqueror there.
There is no answer.
If we've stepped into an alternate timeline, Jordan, I'm going to be so mad at you.
Well, if he left the island, it could very well be that the time difference makes communication impossible.
Yes, well, if Tresco is dead, it doesn't bode well for us.
I mean, I'll be
Sure it
dead.
does.
Somewhere.
Means we're better.
No, it means Damodar killed him.
Is that a guard whistle?
Hear the sound of a whistle coming from the western direction, far off, and several miles away.
Oh, the pirates.
I suppose we head for the docks.
Todd, do you speak pirate?
Nope, but if they're a pain in the ass, I'm just going to play my lyre and we'll take their ship.
I've heard worse plans in the recent days.
I mean, at least this one doesn't involve us getting eaten.
I could probably just pay them for passage, if nothing else. Just, maybe don't tell them exactly how much coin we have on our persons.
I'll enrich them with tales of wonder.
They might keep you, quite honestly. Talented cabin boy.
So, giving up on Tresgall at this point and just heading towards the sound of a whistle, as you imagine it's a pirate ship, loosely described in the narration of a character.
The only other living thing on this island. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Okay. All right. Daenerys, they're just giving up on Tresgall, just walking off.
I mean, it's not like we can't talk to him wherever we go.
Assuming he's alive.
Just hit redial every so often.
It's true.
There's no sign of him. He's enormous, so...
It's true. It's absolutely good. Okay. So without an answer to you, Nereus, unclear as to why, you begin to think about reasonings of that. That's definitely on your mind. You all begin to head off in the western direction, going through the city's rubbles, and your aim to get onto the western coast of this isle, where you imagine is the whistle, which repeats itself a few times. So you're getting some guidance there. Eventually, you're getting to the mixture of sandy dunes and tall grasses, which is blocking your sight lines to the actual water. But you now begin to see maybe the tops of the masts and the different sail work and people working on top of the crow's nests and things. And that is where we're going to go ahead and end the session before we introduce that. All right. Well, hopefully people had a good time. Was it fun?
Yeah, got out
Yeah.
there. Found out I stole his tequila.
Got a lot of interesting information provided there from Headmaster Pouring.
Massive dumps of lore.
Yeah, that made my head hurt.
Yeah, there's a lot there for sure.
That's why Tartan got drunk.
Pretty much.
I need to smash you up right now. Sorry, man. All right, we should be at 43315. So let me calculate experience for you all.
Roughly 4,685.
We did
Imagine what
indirectly
that calculates to.
indirectly cause the death of an undead dragon.
It's true.
It could just be out of range. You know how it works.
It's just, it's 5G. It's spotty when you get under the water.
Yeah, I mean the connection could only work on on the actual
It
continent.
just might not work even on this island. This island's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it probably just doesn't work because of the time difference. You're like trying to talk to him 5 minutes ago, and he's already in 5
Well,
minutes.
no, I mean now, but now this shouldn't be different. But we don't. It's okay. He's not going to give up. He likes him more
Well-
than any of you guys.
The other thing that we have to factor in is that he said time moves faster for organic creature or organic material. So, like, before we made the deal with what's his face, time was moving faster for us.
Well, he said not us because we're special Dinikon.
Oh, did he say not us? I thought he said.
Well, he implied that we were special.
Well, he didn't play we were special, but
All right, so you have 1,133 experience each. Should put you at 44,448 experience total.
Oh wow, I screwed that up. I missed a plus sign somehow.
we went all the way back down to level 1.
Pretty much.
Next up, we got to do level 2.
Can't wait to see how you guys interact with people on a boat. Sure, nothing will go wrong.
It'll be totally fun. We're all very cordial, sociable people.
We're gonna let Ares do all the talking again.
My last boat was my first boat, and it sunk.
That's what I was thinking about. It seemed like that was everybody's first boat, except for
It
Nereus.
can only go up from here, right?
Exactly.
That's definitely not true.
I mean, it can't really go down there too much.
Get it? Going down?
Yeah, I was gonna say boat's already under the ocean.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and close out the stream. Watch the VOD. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Stay with it. Group 5. It's just recording. We can still do it. Yeah. All right. Bye.
Bye bye comment section.